can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it vent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. And hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, that balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, it's my Twaza kid, fuck the shake. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for the devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling. People's vision get blurring, their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid. I bet for keep to me. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you could wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Doom, doom. You know what? It is January the 20th, 0927 Central European time. And it is, what time is it? Let me see here. It is, what is the time? 01:23 a.m. in Portal, Arizona. You know what I'm saying? And that would make it, what time? That would make it 3:28 Eastern Standard Time, USA, America. And yeah, y'all, I hope everybody's doing well. What's up to Asia also? That would be lunchtime in Asia. Everybody's, you know, having their little break right now. But yeah. Oh, I hear you, Bits. Wow, that's that. I mean, the U.S. seems to be, you know, a lot of police activity, you know, police state, basically, you know. Yeah. And it's really interesting. But, you know, I had an overall thought. I had some thoughts about Trump and his activity. I mean, it's constant activity from Trump. That's why they say he's the busiest president on earth. He's talking about how pissed off he is that, he's calling, he says he doesn't care about the Nobel Peace Prize, but then on the other hand, he cares how Norway gives it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you care, motherfucker. You care. You care you didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize. And, we know it. We know it. And there's no faking about it. Look, Trump, they saw, and this is what lets you know people are helping Trump. I mean, people are coming to Trump and letting him know everything, especially what's on social media. He probably saw loads of these images being posted. Like, I can give you a brief summary of it. And it is, I mean, I'm going to show you what Trump is worried about. I'll show you this. This is the kind of shit people are totally, they're just shading Trump, right now. They're calling him a goofball, essentially. Trump is a goofball, and Trump doesn't like being called a goofball, right? He doesn't like being shown that he's a goofball. And of course, he's going to now try to, insert that into the public sphere that, he doesn't really care about that, he doesn't really care about the Nobel Peace Prize after he's been begging and bitching about it for months and months and months. I mean, he's going to have the nerve to try to say he doesn't care now. Come on, dude. And why is it he doesn't care after all these images, people trolling his ass about people getting him different trophies and shit? Why is it after that? You see what I'm saying? Like, why is it after that all of a sudden he doesn't care? Look at this. Here's one right here. This is the look at this shit. And I'm going to tell you, listen, you're only going to live once. This is the life you have. Enjoy every single goddamn day of it. Yo, Greenland, go out there and have a good time today. Denmark, go out there and have a good time today. Don't let this motherfucker waste your time, because he's really not worth it. He's really not worth it. He is a scumbag, and you know that. And Trump, you will never know what Trump really means until he does it. So just go on and live your life. You know what I'm saying? But this is how people been trolling Trump. Look at this shit. They got his ass out here in a dress talking about, Miss Teen Venezuela. He won. Here you go, Trump. Here's your prize, bro. That shit is crazy. And now look, there's more though. There's more. It's not even just that. I mean, people have been trolling Trump's ass all day long. And can we have more of these? Oh, okay. These are the shorts right here. Let me see. Let me go to the shorts. I'm sorry. That was one. Now let's go. Here's another one. Karate Kid giving him a trophy. Trump, Trump, this is how much Trump has been bitching about this goddamn Nobel Peace Prize. He's been bitching about it for months and months and months. He's been bitching about this shit forever. And now he's saying he doesn't care. Come on. Nah, ain't nobody buying that, motherfucker. You care, and you care bad about it. Like, you care bad because you're a sick man. You're fucking sick. Okay? And look at this one. Even goddamn Predator. What is it? Aliens, I mean, he's trying to give his ass an egg. Come on, alien. Thank you. Please, now. Please. I wish he would take. And look, this is how Trump is going out. He's going out this way. And it could be somebody close to him that takes him out. Trump is going to take a hit. Trust me. Trump is going to take a hit. And he's going to take a hit because he is a bitch like this. I mean, he does bitch and moan about a Nobel Peace Prize for months and months and months and months and months. And then he got, even a year. You can't even say months with Trump. This is going on a damn year. Okay, this is going on 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Since Obama got his Nobel Peace Prize, he's been bitching about a Nobel Peace Prize. And this is the true Trump you're looking at. This is the true Trump. There's no other Trump in it. It's the true Trump for you. The one of him bitching about the Nobel Peace Prize is the real actual Trump. It's the real human being. It's the real brain. You see what I mean? And they could try to fool people all they want about it. Right. It ain't going to work. Everyone knows you wanted the Peace Prize, and it is what it is, and you can't take it back, motherfucker, and you ain't getting one. OK, it's just and guess what? Sometimes somebody's got to take a fall. Now, listen, I'm gonna remind everybody, Trump, he doesn't give a fuck how you feel. Trump doesn't give a fuck how you feel. And the thing about a person who doesn't give a fuck about how you feel, you cannot let them control your day. That's what narcissists do. So Trump is loving the fact that people are moving around. He loves if he thinks you worried about him and you paying him the time of day. Oh, he loves that. That's exactly what a narcissist wants. That's how you know Trump is a true narcissist. So my advice to people is like this: prepare to go to war. Prepare to go to war with the United States of America. Very simple. Don't think about it. Yeah, just be ready. Just like the Danish prime minister said, shoot first. That's all. Shoot first. And all the rest of the annex, don't worry about it. Fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be about it. You got to do something for people to give you some attention at this point. You can't just sit around and keep drawing energy from that day after day. We might invade. We might invade. We might invade. Nah, motherfucker. That's over. You ain't invading shit. You need to do it now. People don't fucking believe you. And if you don't do it, then you don't do it. But do it. You haven't done it yet. So it doesn't fucking count. Just like you didn't get that Nobel Peace Prize. You didn't get one yet. So it doesn't fucking count. Okay? And that's the real Trump you're looking at. You're looking at a person whose countrymen don't even like his ass. The majority of the country of American citizens hate Donald fucking Trump. Fuck it. The election is over. They done found out. You outed. People know your agenda now, and they know you're not America first. They know that was just a slogan. They know you're billionaires first, right? People know that. And they know you're a goddamn liar. You know what I'm saying? And the only people that's going to run around in a circle is just a person that's never met a narcissist before. You see what I mean? That's all it is. You know, people that have this kind of didn't get enough attention when they were kids. You see what I'm saying? Which is likely Donald J. Trump, the way he talks about it, right? The way autobiographers talk about it. Yeah, I mean, he needs that attention. So he's craving the attention. He deep down inside, he's loving the attention. He prefers bad attention to good attention because he's a narcissist. That's how it fucking works. See, a person that craves good attention, they won't do anything for it. You see what I mean? They're more classy about the things they do. You know what I mean? They give a little space for everyone to exist. It's more tasteful, the type of attention they go after. They can get a little bit of attention, step back, let others get a little bit of attention, you know, let everybody just move the ball around. You know what I'm saying? The thoughts move around the room. You know what I'm saying? That's not Trump. Trump has to be the center of attention because he's a fucking narcissist. You know what I mean? And any grown man that's still capping for Trump is pathetic. Tell me, what state do you live in and who is your health care provider if you're capping for Trump? Because you're probably not even real. Trump has like Grok bots. He's got a Grok army and shit out here on the internet. Like, you must have Trump derangement syndrome. Man, shut the fuck up. Robots don't pay taxes. Always remember that, human beings. Robots don't pay taxes. Okay. People that are, and a lot of the trolls he got, I just wonder what country they're from because they can't even tell you what state they live in and who their healthcare provider is. I mean, that's really it. So, Passion Flowers, what state do you live in? Who's your healthcare provider? Let's hear it. Let's see. Trump casinos out of business. Yeah, they are. They are out of business. Well, let's go. Let's go. Look at this. Exactly. Passover Flower is there. Passover Flower loves some Trump. What state do you live in? And who's your health care provider? Please, we would really like to know. If inquiring minds want to know. Jerry Garcia, what about you? What about you, Gary? What state do you live in? And where's your health care provider, yo? Who is it? Who? Hello? You know, I mean, but this is what he's living off of. Trump, at the end of his day, you know what's going to happen? Trump's last day, he's going to be still talking that shit over the internet. Still talking that shit. He's going to be there saying this shit. And you know what's going to be? It's going to be a million fucking troll army of fucking robots and trolls from other countries, you know, getting paid a penny a cent to get in the chat and type. They still gonna be backing him up until his last day, until he shits in his pants. They're gonna be like, Trump is the greatest man on earth. They're gonna be right there typing. You know what I'm saying? So, but they won't be out there on the streets because the people in America, they ain't got time for that shit. They going broke right in your face as people watch. They worried. Everybody who voted for Trump, 90% of the people who voted for Trump are worried about their fucking home right now if their mortgage is going to fucking default. You see what I'm saying? 90% of the people that voted for Trump are worried about their goddamn mortgage right now. They ain't got time for the fucking internet. They are fucking scared. And we know you are because the data says so. The data says so. But before we get to the data, let's look at Trump's famous, lies that he's been taking people through. And this is what you got to realize. You can't follow a narcissist around at every whim. You're going to lose your mind if you do that. The bottom line is some of the shit Trump says is fake. Maybe a tiny bit of it might be true. That's his record. So as far as invading Greenland, of course, it's a serious matter. You got to get ready. You have to prepare and all of that. But he probably ain't going to do it. And if he does, like I said, shoot first. Fuck him. And fuck anybody that invades Greenland. Shoot their ass. Okay? Even if it's the motherfucking American military, shoot their ass because they are fucking breaking the law, the United States law. Okay. You cannot go to fucking war without going to the people first. So fuck any military that's thinking about stepping their ass in Greenland. Fuck you. Now, that's just basically how you got to deal with foul people. You know what I'm saying? But in any case, here we go. And to the ones in the military that have a brain and know what I'm saying is facts, big up to you. You deserve all the credit in the world. And thanks for your sacrifice. The ones of you that don't, fuck you, man. You living off other people's tax money. Fuck you. Now, let's go.
With a fact check, Hunt.
Let's listen to the fact check, okay? Yeah, you can't be walking around just because you got a gun thinking you hot shit when somebody else pays your motherfucking bills. Goddamn, get out there and go get a fucking job, man. Goddamn, do something with your life. Stop scratching off of motherfucking American people's tax dollars and shit if you're not gonna fucking follow the fucking law and the fucking Constitution. Fuck you.
With a fact check on Donald Trump's first year of his second term.
Thank y'all. It is what it is. I'm an American citizen. You don't follow the fucking Constitution and you using everybody's tax dollars and you think you fucking tough? Fuck you. Follow the fucking law. Go to Congress. Go to Congress. Stand by your motherfucking Constitution, bitch. Really? It's not your fucking country. It's our fucking country.
Tuesday marks 1 year since Trump returned to the presidency. And if you care about democracy, which feels like a lot longer.
Hey, at least I'm not scratching off American people's tax dollars. Let me tell you, I'm not scratching off of nobody's tax dollars. I got a job and I'm not walking around abusing the fucking law, abusing the fucking Constitution. I don't have the majority of fucking Americans hating my ass because I'm giving their tax dollars to fucking billionaires. Get off my dick. Okay, go after Trump's ass. He's the one whipping your ass and your mama's ass and your kid's ass and your granddaddy's fucking ass. Okay, get a fucking life.
In just 12 months, we've seen the weaponization of the Justice Department, shock and awe campaign against American cities, and
I'll flip on somebody for real about this shit. I mean, in real life, stay the fuck away from me with that bullshit. It ain't gonna work on everybody. Straight up, it's just not. Okay, some people are too serious. Okay,
governing style.
But this is Trump's lying ass record right here. We're gonna review
Donald Trump's first year of his second term. This Tuesday
Yay,
marks
Trump.
1 year since Trump returned to the presidency. And
hey, do me a favor, click the like button. Everybody, if you don't mind, if you're listening, click the like button. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. Okay, really, that's how I feel. Okay. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because soon we're going to go into subscriber mode, as we always do, to get rid of the nut licking trolls.
if you care about democracy, Which feels like a lot longer. In just 12 months, we've seen the weaponization of the Justice Department, a shock and awe campaign against American cities, and a governing style that has often felt less like a presidency and more like a system.
By the way, January 31st, in front of the American Embassy, 12 noon, there is a demonstration here in Copenhagen, created by American citizens. Everyone is welcome to join. Everyone that is against the Trump administration is welcome to join, whether you're Danish, whether you're American, whatever. So we will see you there, 12 o'clock, noon, in front of the American Embassy. So we can tell anybody that wants to hear it. Yeah, it's going to be live.
Sustained stress test. But it's also been a year of broken promise.
Goldfinger, I got a job, chump. And as a matter of fact, Goldfinger, come on, let's see who Goldfinger is. You know, come on, what is up with these trolls, man? Goldfinger, do you have a job? Let's go look. Let's see. I mean, he's got a real name, right? So that must mean he's got a real job? No, it doesn't mean that. Let's see here. Anthony Tassari. Where you from, Anthony? Where you from? What state you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Anthony. Goldfinger. What state you in and who's your healthcare provider? I don't think Anthony lives in a state, and I don't think he has a healthcare provider. So let's move on.
Promises. On immigration, Trump promised to go after criminals, the quote, worst of the worst. Instead, what he got was an American mother gunned down by ICE and many deportations without due process. And in Trump's inaugural address, remember this promise?
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
Oh, really?
Something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law.
Okay.
Needless to say, that didn't happen. He's weaponized the Justice Department to go after practically any public official who's opposed him. Most recently, the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis over their criticism of ICE's occupation of their state. And don't forget Trump's claim he would not start pointless wars.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
But a year later, Trump appears to be trying to take over Greenland and threatening tariffs on allies who oppose him, calling for new leadership in Iran, and dabbling in something akin to regime change in Venezuela. And that's just this week. Then, of course, there are the kitchen table issues.
I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices.
Somebody in the chat
As
wrote,
you know, if you've been
somebody
to a
in the
grocery
chat
store,
wrote,
prices.
James Wilson wrote, can a man get pregnant? And my response to James is your mom's a man? If so, yes. Okay, there you have it.
Are not down like Trump promised. They are actually up on a range of necessities. From
Now stay on topic, you jackass. Okay, stay on topic. This is about the lies that Trump made. Okay, stay on topic.
Store items to energy. But voters are noticing these broken promises on nearly every issue Trump campaigned on and told voters he would fix, quote, immediately once getting back into the White House. Trump is polling underwater. See it there on the screen. Joining us now, Norm Eisen, founder of the Democracy Defenders Fund and former special counsel to President Barack Obama. Sarah Matthews, former White House deputy press secretary during Trump's first term and spokesperson for Home of the Brave.
See, the good thing about Trump is that he has a record that nobody who supports him or votes for him likes to talk about. So everyone else gets to talk about it.
And the one and only Reverend Al Sharpton, host of Politics Nation on MS Now and president of the National Action.
And again, just in case there's any Danes listening, in case there's any Greenlanders listening, because I know that there are, listen, go on with your day. Have a good day. Trump is a bitch. He's a narcissist. You know, he gets off on people wondering, oh, are they going to attack? Are they serious? That's what that's what a narcissist gets off of. Narcissists have a need for this kind of attention because they don't know how to get positive attention. You see what I mean? Which is why he's bitching about this goddamn Nobel Peace Prize. He's been bitching about it for a year. And when he saw people mocking him on the internet openly, all of a sudden, right after that, which is 24 hours later, he decided to say he doesn't really care about the Nobel Peace Prize. Sure, you don't care, motherfucker. We know you care. And that gives you a clear sign into how Trump's brain works. It's off of the attention purely. And anyone who works for him will play along with it to a certain degree. But listen, Greenlanders, listen, everybody else on the island of Greenland, if an American soldier steps foot on there with any aggression, shoot first. Shoot first, because that is what they deserve, because they will be breaking the fucking American law, the Constitution. Only Congress can go to war. You see what I'm saying? So Greenland hasn't done anything to the United States of America. Go out there and don't let this piece of shit Trump ruin your day. Don't worry about that. We all got to die someday anyway. You know what I'm saying? You have the most important thing is that you die like a stand-up person and not like a bitch like Trump or anybody that follows him. That's what matters. Honor. Okay? That matters a little bit because Trump don't have any.
Network. See what this first year of the second Trump term has done to me? I can't talk. Sarah, thank you all very much for being here. Sarah, I'm going to start with you since you worked in the first Trump.
Exactly, Curly. Like, really, at some point, people got to get it on. Come on. If it's going to be all these threats, then let's get it on. Let's get it on. What the fuck is the talking all about? Stop talking. Get to it. You see what I mean? And yeah, it's just that simple. And just like the Danish prime minister said, shoot first. Shoot first. That's the orders that the Danish military has. And by the way, there's a lot more military than the news has been reporting there, right, as of lately. So, you know, and if American soldiers want to step their ass on there, I am not fucking with you. I'm an American citizen. Fuck you. That's what I'm saying. The ones that want to actually act right and follow the Constitution, thank you for your service. The ones that want to break the Constitution and use our names as American to fucking do it, fuck you.
Administration, what grade would you give President Trump on the first anniversary of his second term?
You know what? I'll give him a D. I think that things have been pretty bad.
A D, damn.
And they're much worse than I would have
I give him a minus 100 Fs.
expected, in the sense that I didn't expect as many people to capitulate to him as we've seen. But
those people that listen, the people that capitulate to Trump, the people that work with Trump, the people that have a kind word for Trump, any of them in any government, your government days are finished. Your government career is over. Your political career, your government career is finished. It's over with Trump. You won't be near no motherfucking government shit ever again in your goddamn life.
most of it was pretty predictable in my eyes. The one thing I really didn't predict was him wanting to take over Greenland. I think that's been a little bit of a surprise for me, and for voters as well. I think that's why you see so many people who are upset with him, and we've seen in recent polling that they think that he has not prioritized the issues that he campaigned on. And so I think there's a lot of voter frustration.
Here, put a 1 in the chat if you support Trump. Put a 1 in the chat if you support Trump. If you don't support Trump, put a 2 in the chat. Let's see who's here. Let's see. And let's also find out who's real. Because there's a lot of fakers out there. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to find out. Now, yeah, let's see. If you support Trump, put a 1 in the chat. Yeah. Now, everybody that put a 1 in the chat, tell me what state you live in and your healthcare provider. Okay, so we got here we go. See. So Jane Marshall, what state do you live in? Who's your healthcare provider if you're a real person? Simon, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? To the 2000 mix, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Jason Cummings, what state do you live in and who's your health care provider? Matthew Wallander. Oh, no, that's not Matthew. Okay, sorry about that. Is it Matthew Wallander? Let me see who else. Yeah, Matthew Wallander. You too. Put your state in there and your healthcare provider, Dennis Hansen. Come on now. What state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Lord Zolrick, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? That's that. What state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Cheeto, whatever. What state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? News No America. If that's not trolling, I don't know what is. What state do you live in and who's your oh my God. Idaho Blue Cross. Okay, let me see here. Let's go check these out. I see a whole lot of people don't have no health insurance. No state, only 2 goddamn people out of all those ones. Only 2. What's up, Dylan? Only 2 people out of all those ones. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it. Somebody said California. Is that even working? I'm sure. I'm curious about that. Blue Anthem. Okay, here, let's look these up real quick. Let's see what's up. Boom. It doesn't matter actually, because I already know. Here's my next question. If you live in California, how do you like your health care going up? Yay! I love it. I love it. Fuck you. I'm so happy your health care went up, bitch. If you support Trump, I'm so happy for it. Hoorah! Yay! Mine didn't. Oh, wow. That's so great. Wow. If you supported Trump and your health care went up, fuck you. I'm loving it. Yeah, you deserve it. Keep going, man. Because that's what happened in California. It don't matter what healthcare you got. It went up. And the only healthcare that didn't go up is the one that don't cover shit. Okay? Yeah. That's right. Let's celebrate, y'all. These dumb motherfucking Trump supporters are paying more for healthcare. Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. Look at they still like, we don't mind. I know you don't mind, bitch. What the fuck? You're a bitch. That's why you don't mind. What the fuck? You're a slave. You don't have a fucking choice. You're a slave to the billionaires. Whoosh. Now get the fuck out there and make some money for me, motherfucker. Hurry up. We ain't got all day. How many hours do you work a week? How many hours do you work a week to pay them goddamn bills? How many hours you work a week? I mean, you want to celebrate? Yay, I celebrate. You spending more money. You're probably going to fucking run out. Like straight up. Did you get a raise to compensate that? I don't think you did.
There, so I think it could get.
I'm celebrating you paying more money for healthcare if you celebrating it. Fuck it. Why not? I'll celebrate it.
A little worse. So
exactly. They suckers. I mean, see, that's where the pride is. You got different kinds of pride on earth. Some people are proud of dumb shit, of just being dumb. You see what I mean? Now listen, if you got and Trump fucked around and raised your taxes and you didn't vote for him, I understand it. That's a fucking hassle. That's bullshit. But if you want a person that supports it and actually is celebrating it, man, you dumb. You are dumb. And here's the facts. You're here watching me and my algorithm tease your bitch ass and my health care didn't go up. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, not only are you Trump's bitch, you my bitch too. Like, really? What is it? It is. Look at this. So hold on. I'm going to erase this comment because nobody that puts black MAGA for men is really black. So let me just hide that. Boom. That ain't going to work. See, this is where they try to do with the trolls. They try to do the culture war. This is always it. Black man. Yesterday it was the white man. A troll named white man something. Somebody else said white power. Look, these people are all trying to spread culture wars. They think people haven't figured their little shit out. You see what I mean? They think when you come over here, I don't give a fuck about your skin color. I care about your character. Okay? And if your character is weak, see, you can't just stand on your skin color over here. You got to offer something else, whether you white or black or whatever the fuck you are, orange, purple, pink. You see what I'm saying? Like, really, I'm not going for it. I'm just telling you, I need shit to work. You know what I'm saying? And I can't rely on motherfucking color. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I can't do it. Thank you, bitch. Thank you. I can't do it. I need other guarantees and shit. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Now, I don't mind what your color is. Your color could be black or white or whatever, but that ain't the main motherfucking topic. That's not a qualification. This shit. That's not like, I'm black and that settles it. Like, no, you're paying more for health care. I'm not. That shouldn't settle it for you. That really shouldn't settle shit for you, okay? So if you here, you want to be my bitch too, because you like being Trump's bitch too, fuck it, be my bitch. You know what I'm saying? But to the rest of you that got some goddamn sense and say hell no to Trump, you are welcome here anytime. No doubt. You are blessed here. I appreciate your support. And I'm only doing this to you because, listen, I'm only doing this for the people that are saying fuck Trump, because you need to laugh. You need to have inspiration. You need to know people care about you. You need to know that you're loved. You need to know that you're not standing alone. You need to know that you are on the right side of justice, and you need to be reminded of that. And that's what I'm fucking going to do. And if you're a dumbass Trump person and you paying more, look at this. Let's just see. We can't even play this dumb fool's record because look at this. This is just where it's at. I mean, sometimes I think I don't go over this part enough, but look at this shit right here. Just check this out. This is amazing. This is the GDP. Yeah. So here it is in 2021, right? 2021, it was $23 trillion, 23.7. 2022, it was 26. It went up $2.5 trillion. Right? That's Biden and Harris. 2023, 27. It went up $1 trillion, almost $1.5 trillion, 1.5 trillion or 7 trillion, right? 1.7 trillion in 2023. 24, this is still Biden and Harris. 29, so from 27.7 to 29.2, that's over 1 trillion. That's 1 point what? 5 again. That's $1.5 trillion up. It's slowing down here. You see, this is when Trump came in office. It immediately slowed down with Trump. Same thing back here. Look at this. You see this? Trump comes in office. Look at that. Look at that. He could barely get his motherfucking GDP actually dropped. You didn't see Biden and Harris's GDP drop one goddamn time. And you're still so fucking stupid to support Trump. Like, you are goddamn dumb. You are, and you need to be told to your motherfucking face, and I will fucking do it because you are. Okay? You are fucking dumb. Okay? and you ain't gonna be leading my motherfucking life. Okay? Don't, that hocus pocus shit don't work on me. I only believe in fucking math. Okay? You ever heard of my aunt? Math. Okay? The universe. You know what I'm saying? Shit has to exist for real in science, okay? It can't just be some fucking goddamn cult where you just believe in the statue over and over and over. Trump, I got my Trump doll. Here it is. No matter what I say, Trump is going to win. No matter what happened to me, I'm okay because Trump loves me. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, here, this is your life. This is your life. See, your life slowed down right here. It didn't slow down with Biden and Harris. It slowed down right here. 2025. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. 29 trillion point 2 in 2024. 29.4. Do you see how this is only 200 million improvement compared to trillions 4 years in a row? 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row. Here's your math. Here's your Trump math right here. This is your life. This is your life. I mean, this is you. Love it. I hope you love it. There it is right there. Can you see it? Hold on. Let me show it to you. Boom. There it is. You can't see it? Here it is. See, right here, 229.2, right? That's 29 trillion, 200 million, right? Now look, 29.4, 29.2. That's not really that's a straight up slowdown. Now here's 2021, 23.7, 2022, 26 trillion, 2023, 27.7 trillion, 2024, 29.2 trillion, 2025, 29.4. Yeah, that's reality for you. So if you feel like things are slowing down, that's why. That's why things are slowing down, you know? And yeah, you know, I really do like some of the MAGA people though, because I'm starting to figure out something. They like to be dissed to their face. They actually enjoy, they like sadomasochists. They like to be told off. They like to be shitted on. That's why they vibrate with Trump. That's why I'm going to start using his tactics and shitting on these people, because they don't deserve any motherfucking light from me. Like I can do it all day long, to be honest with you. I mean, although I'm more into the data, but I'm a dude that grew up in DC, man. I'll shit on your ass for real. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't going to fool me at all. Okay, I ain't got no goddamn time to waste. Too many people. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? Look at this shit. Look at this. This is their life. And they lost their health care. And look, and they paying more for health care. And they got the nerve to be fucking like celebrating Trump. Yay, Trump. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for fucking up the economy and making me pay more for my health care. Thank you. And they really think all you got to do is show them a black person on TV complaining, and they just get off on that. Ha, yeah. Like you can eat that. Like you could take that. Like that's currency you could take to the bank or some shit. It's like, no, you can't do nothing with that. That's not actually a check. That's not actually a raise. That's not actually any. And that's what culture wars are for. That's what culture wars are for, to fool the ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but anyway, back on script here. You know, I just wanted to go over there and check that out for a little bit. I mean, let's hear some more here. Let's see what they got to say.
That's why I'm not giving him an F.
So I was about to say, like,
Yeah.
why not an F?
Because it's year
I think,
one. Huh?
I think there's plenty of time for it to get even worse than it is already. So that's why I'm hedging my bets a bit there.
Rev, you know, we're gonna get into the polling and all of the things. We have lots of good stuff that our producer John Ball put together.
And you're here for 2 blocks.
Yes, but I'm
Yeah,
curious for you.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see a MAGA supporter missing all his front teeth. Where the MAGA supporters that need a dentist? Raise your hand. Put a 1 in the chat if you're missing your front tooth or some shit like that. You know, I want to see one. You know, bragging and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm going to get me one of them good government jobs. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Mood of the country, right? Because the way that we treat each other in this country sometimes feels like it matters more than how much bacon is or how much, you know, how expensive it is to fill up your car, because it is our everyday experience, how we interact with each other as human beings, as Americans, as people that live in this country, as Republicans and Democrats. And I'm curious we have 2 more days, so it could get a lot worse, but in the 363 days, I'm not good at math, that of Donald Trump so far, when you're looking at how this country has treated each other, how he's treating people that live in this country, how are you thinking about that as we get through year 1?
Look at this. Look at this. Look, pathetic ass Jason says, I bet you bought that mic with your mom's EBT card. Listen, man. If you actually believe that, I feel sorry for you, because I could actually help your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, let me ask you just a straight up question. You know, how much do you make a year? Like, James, like, really? Because you out here on the internet bragging and shit. You know, I bet you bought that money with your mom's EBT card. Okay, so since you want to talk about money, right? Since you want to do that, how much do you make, homie? Like, how much do you make, James? What are you making? I mean, since you bragging like you got something. You got more than an EBT card. I don't even know what the fuck it was called. Is that what it's called? A EBT? I presume you talking about a card that a person on welfare uses or a person that's getting food stamps, right? I mean, you know, I presume that. I'm not totally out of the woods, but goddamn. So let everybody know how much, since that's what you think, bro. If that's what you think, that's what you think. How much you make? Come on, man. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Where James at, everybody? James want to brag about. See, he wants to demean. First of all, he wants to throw out something out there like there's something wrong with being on welfare. Listen, I'm not on welfare, but I'm not the one demeaning people for being on it. If people need help, I think they should get all the help they need in the richest country on earth. Okay. Now, I don't like how they do this thing where they give you a card, so you go to the store and you have to spend it like so people can know that you're on. I think that's wrong. I think that's classism. You see what I mean? Because they don't tell the billionaires to get all these tax dollars to use a EBT card. You see what I mean? And they're getting people's tax dollars also. So, you know, I think it's a bullshit scam the way they do it. But since you want to talk about money, James, where you go, James? How much money you make, man? Everybody want to know, bro. Everybody want to know. Now, I tell people all the time, I'm not rich. You know what I'm saying? I'm a regular dude. But I ain't doing that bad, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that bad at all. And I appreciate my life, the life that I have. Yes, I do have a job for people that want to know. I have a pretty cool job, as a matter of fact. You know, and not only do I have a pretty cool job, I also owned a business at one time here. You see what I'm saying? So, are people in Denmark worried about Greenland, pizza guy? Well, I would say people are worried. You know what I'm saying? They're worried because it's not just about Greenland. It's about the fact that they know that something's wrong in the U.S. So Denmark was an ally to the U.S., right? And so they're a little shocked because they know, now things are not that way. Like, Denmark is not an ally of the U.S. right now. Like, that you can best believe. And that's how they're handling it. And that's how the EU is handling it. Like, it's not the USA. It has nothing to do with the USA, y'all. It has everything to do with Donald Trump. Like, so one thing people need to think about is economy, how economies are structured, right? And how the Danish economy is structured is similar to a lot of other EU countries, although Denmark is one that that puts a lot of money into education, healthcare. It's a big industry here, which is why if everyone's going to get it, then it's big, it's broad, right? So that means it employs a lot of people, right? That means there's businesses inside of it. There's private industry that works in conjunction with, I think the Danish government might be the administrator or one of the main administrators of the finances that pay for it. But it's then managed by private companies under it, so, and it's blended, it's mixed, right? So what that means is that a lot of the money is staying on the ground. A lot of the tax money is staying on the ground. It's also the same thing with education. Look, I mean, when you want to talk about dollars per person and how it's spread out, how dense it is, right? Because when you're dealing with mass, you're also dealing with density. U.S. has a big mass, but when you're talking about education, it's not dense. When you're talking about healthcare, it's not dense. It's not spread out across that population, right? So it's not really dense. We talked about that before. The U.S. economy is big, but it's not wide. You see what I mean? So it actually is not stable. But when you look at the Danish economy and countries that invest more in education, universal healthcare, universal education, you will see that the economy is actually broader, right, per person. So that means the middle class is stronger, right? And it's because the ground is not being ignored. It's kind of like the ground up approach. You see what I'm saying? So the money is spreading around a lot on the ground, too, and circulating. In the U.S., it's not circulating. And what's going to happen here is that at some moment, because of how the economy is structured, it's going to stall. It's going to stall because the only people that have the money will be the rich people. That's what's happening right now. And when that happens, the rest of the population can't turn the money around. They don't have anything to turn to generate energy with. And that's going to be the problem in the US. So when I hear a person like James making jokes about EBT, yo, man, that might be your future, bro. If you're lucky, James, if you're lucky, because they might cancel all that shit. And you'll be the one that's like, damn, I didn't know that, you might need it, man. So, people need to really think about these kind of things. Let me see. If America is Animal Farm, the Democrats are Snowball and Republicans are Napoleon. I mean, yeah, I read Animal Farm. We actually had some court hearings. Yeah, I was a lawyer. I remember in my middle school, man, I was playing the lawyer and I was prosecuting some of these damn animals now for crimes, But yeah, I mean, look, man, I think right now it's very easy to see that the Republican Party doesn't care about anyone in the U.S. Like, they just don't care. The fact that any responsible person right now should be calling for impeachment of Trump. Any person should be calling for the impeachment of Trump, right? And because when Trump came into power, 1 year, this is what's happened to the U.S. dollar. It's gone down. And it's been that way. The same time, look, you see this chart? We go over this all the time. This is January. Look, hold on. Look. Where is it? January here? You see that January 29th? It was up here. You go all the way through the year. Now we here, and it's down all the way down to 637. It was up to 722. Now it says 637. You know what I'm saying? So that in conjunction with this is definitely not a good look for American citizens. Like, this is what's happening. Every time Trump comes in office, the economy slows down. So what this is essentially is it's like a culling. You know what I'm saying? They already have suffering in mind for American people. You know what I mean? And that's really sad when you have a sinister party like that really wants to hurt you, wants you to spend your last dollar, wants you to lose, default on your loans, wants you to do these things. And that's typically what happens. But the problem is that, I mean, I even heard Mike Johnson, he talked about doing something with the credit cards, the credit, how you pay back on this. But then he talked about people that are rotating credit, rotating debt, right? He talked about that like that was normal, rotating debt. Why should anybody in the richest country on earth have to rotate debt? What's that all about? Why can't you just afford to pay back your debt? What is it? You're not getting paid enough in your salary? Like, so there's real structural issues in the United States with how the taxes are spent, right? And how the economy functions. It's very volatile. And other people's economies are more resilient. And this is what you're seeing right here. Now, look, you're going to go through something even worse. I mean, it's sad. I'm willing to talk about the economy, but it's sad. You're going to go through something worse because Trump, he just issued tariffs, He just issued tariffs, Trump. And, the tariffs are going to hurt. And we went over this yesterday. These tariffs that Trump hit, they will affect European economies between like 0 point, just a small fraction. But guess whose economy is going to be hurt the most just off of the tariffs that he introduced yesterday? The U.S. is going to suffer 5 times more. And that's what Trump calls smart. That's what the Republican Party calls smart. And that's 5 times more without even Europe even setting their retaliatory tariffs, which are coming. So nobody in the United States of America should be bragging right now because you have less rights than European citizens across the board. You should not be laughing. If you're laughing, you're a jackass. Why is Trump? Damn, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, pizza guy. Damn, bro. Let me see here. Why is Trump allowed to threaten to take over other countries? Also, why is ICE allowed to kill people and kidnap them? And why are people acting like this behavior is normal? It's the Republican Party. You know, it's kind of like divide and conquer. You know what I mean? It's like how they feed their base. So the billionaires can make all the money as long as you're doing these distractions. As long as you have this divide and conquer, the billionaires can get anything they want. And that's what's happening right now. So Trump is looking for anything extreme, pretty much, you know, because he knows it's a distraction from the Epstein files, and he knows it's a distraction from people paying attention to what's going on with the dollar. You know, they don't want people paying attention to the dollar. They don't want people paying attention to what the billionaires are doing. That's really what it is. That's my view. And I think it's just, you know, almost plain to see. It's easy to distract people's attention when you have the police out there just scaring people, you know, randomly scaring people, frightening people with long arm weapons in their neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it's so extreme, because it has to be extreme to distract. You see what I mean? And it's working for a lot of people. A lot of people. I mean, this is why I'm here. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm here. So to just, you know, talk about the things that maybe other people aren't talking about, or say the things that maybe other people aren't so plainly saying. But I think the charade is really on the American people. And so when they hear something like when the poor MAGA people hear something like attack Greenland, they feel good because somebody else can have a problem besides them. You see what I mean? It's kind of like a way of saying, don't look at my problems. You have problems. But we know a lot of the Americans have fucking problems, serious problems. So it doesn't make sense that we will be attacking Greenland. It doesn't make sense that we will be attacking Canada, because with all the money we got right now, you would think you wouldn't have to attack anybody and you would have it pretty well. You still got the biggest GDP on earth. You see what I'm saying? Like, this GDP rose under Biden and Harris, rose way more than it ever has risen under Trump consecutively. Trump's GDP is stalling. It's loosening up. And soon, listen, because that's only $200 million. You see that? The difference between 24 and 25? Soon, that's going to be minus $200 million. And that's when it goes minus, that's when the recession is going to be official. You know, the country is in recession right now. So, you know, I just think people need distractions, and Trump is good at giving his base distractions, and they go for it every time. Is the MAGA movement built on hatred? It seems they are extremely dishonest. Oh, it absolutely is based on hatred. But for them, they don't know love. I won't say it's based on hatred. It's based on the lack of love. Like, really not having no love, bro. These people don't express love. Think about it. They're angry at other people that know how to express love. That's what they hate. That's the strangest thing, right? No matter who you are, no matter if you're heterosexual or like myself, or whether you're somebody else, right? If you know what love really is, and you have love yourself, you're not hating on somebody else and how they love. You see what I mean? But they don't actually know how, man. It's not there. And I think a lot of people underestimate that. It's not just Republicans. A lot of people don't know what love is. So hate replaces it, you know, and they actually feel that that's love. That's the closest they get to it, like group hate, you know. Who do they hate? What do they not like becomes the one thing that they know, and they replace it. So when you look at people like Pete Hegseth, it's no wonder why he's a drunk. You know what I'm saying? It's no wonder why he's a drunk. It's no wonder why Elon Musk is a drug addict. It's no wonder why. I mean, this is where all of that shit goes, because it's going to leave you empty. And I think, you know, there's a lot of ways to examine these folks, but how they treat others is very, very telling. And I don't think anybody has watched Trump or watched this administration and seen, like, said, they really got love. Look at MAGA Mike Johnson. I mean, you think he's loving his wife? I don't think so. I'm a heterosexual male. So I kind of know how men react around women that they love because I'm one of them. You see what I'm saying? And I didn't see that magic in his eye. I didn't see no magic in her eye, no twinkle. But look at Trump's wife. You really think he's loving on her? No. Look at, I mean, it's a whole list of them. You know what I'm saying? Where you just have to wonder. Marco Rubio. I mean, the man's miserable. Marco Rubio, he got a miserable life. He's got a miserable life. You see what I mean? So I just think that it's all a charade. It's all, for power and money. They have no class. You see what I mean? They care not about the signals they send to the rest of the population on Earth. You see what I mean? And it's just they really reach out because they hate folks. You know, they hate Obama, for example. Why you hate Obama? What did Obama do to you? What did he do? They hate Kamala Harris. What did you see what I mean? It's more like jealousy, you know. JD Vance, definite. Yeah, JD Vance is another one. Like he doesn't seem like he. I mean, I'm sure they have some way of copulating together. But love, I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think it's being killed. I think when he took that job, it was over. Basically, it's just like I don't see it myself, but it's also about how they treat others. I mean, look at their whole platform. Their whole platform is about destroying lives. It's not about building up any life. He hasn't built up any middle class. They don't even have a plan to. They talk down. Even if you listen, when they talk about the American people, they talk down. They make it sound like American people are wrong for wanting their tax dollars to work for them. You see what I'm saying? They actually talk that way. You see what I mean? And in reality, the tax dollars are actually supposed to work for all American people. So that means, that's the main idea of taxes, and for people that don't know, there is an amendment. There's a actual amendment in the Bill of Rights. Let me see here where which is the reason why people pay taxes. Let me look this up real quick. Can y'all see this? Hold on. Yeah, there's an actual amendment, let me see. What is it? The 16th Amendment? And I say abolish this shit. You know what I'm saying? I say abolish it because you hear people, these MAGA people, talking all the time about abolish the First Amendment, abolish this amendment, abolish that. Yeah, well, motherfucker, abolish the 16th Amendment too. While you at it, like, let's get real, because this is what it says about the 16th Amendment, and people should know this. Why should you pay federal taxes if the money's not going to help you? If it doesn't help you at all, why? Because listen, the way these people talk, they make it act like it's all for self. Everybody for themselves. This is how MAGA Mike Johnson talks. This is how the Republican Party talks. You all by yourself. So, why not? I mean, my taxes.
The 16th Amendment.
Listen, you got to understand something. The taxes I pay, they actually do something for me. That's the thing about it. I get help. I have health care. It's paid for in my taxes. My kids have education, higher education. It's paid for in the taxes. I get something for my taxes. What do you get for your taxes in the USA? What do you get for your taxes? And the whole point is that it's supposed to get you something. But they've talked about it in a way that makes people think, nah, you're just supposed to pay. Well, okay. Is that what you
Amendment to the
think?
United States Constitution is a pivotal piece of legislation that fundamentally changed how the federal government is funded. Ratified in 1913, it granted Congress the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes. Why was it needed? Before this amendment, the Supreme Court ruled in Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, 1895, that a federal income tax was unconstitutional because it was a direct tax that wasn't apportioned among the states based on their populations. The 16th Amendment effectively overturned that ruling, allowing the government to tax individuals and corporations directly without worrying about state population ratios. Key provisions. Direct taxation. It removed the requirement for the tax to be distributed based on the census. Source of income. It applies to income from whatever source derived, meaning wages, interest, dividends, and rents are all fair game. Impact on American life. The ratification of the 16th Amendment led to several major shifts in the U.S. economy and government. Shift in revenue. Prior to 1913, the government relied heavily on tariffs, taxes on imported goods, and excise taxes. The income tax eventually became the primary source of federal funding. The birth of the IRS. To manage the collection of these new taxes, the Bureau of Internal Revenue was significantly expanded, eventually becoming the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, we know today. Expansion of government. With a more reliable and massive stream of revenue, the federal government was able to fund larger projects, including world wars, social programs, and national infrastructure. The text of the amendment. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes, from whatever source derived, without apportionment among the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration. Comparison. Before versus after. Feature. Pre-16th Amendment. Post-16th Amendment. Primary revenue. Tariffs and trade duties. Personal and corporate income tax. Tax fairness. Regressive. Burdened the poor via higher goods prices. Progressive. Higher earners pay a higher percentage. Federal power. Limited by budget constraints. Greatly expanded. Would you like me to explain how the progressive tax bracket system works, or are you interested in the history of the Supreme Court cases that led up to this amendment?
Right. So, there it is. I don't think, I say you can't have it both ways. So if they don't feel that federal taxes should be used for health care and education for everyone, every American citizen to have access to education, every American citizen to have access to health care, if they don't feel that way, then what the fuck are you paying for? Like, what do you expect to get? You're paying for, what are you left with paying now? You're paying for what? Wars? And what else are you paying for? Infrastructure? Will Trump roll the infrastructure back? So that doesn't count. The infrastructure got rolled back now by Trump. You see what I'm saying? So really, folks have been had. American citizens have been had. Will the Danes, Germans, and French attack American soldiers if they invade? Yeah, they will, bro. And they've been given orders to, like, straight up. That's the Danish. Let me see here. Let me go to that. Let's see. That's a good question you asked in there, bro. So let me just bring up the official information. What orders do the Danish military have upon any invasion into Greenland? Yeah, it's simple. The orders are shoot first and ask questions later. Those are the actual orders. So let me play this for people that didn't hear that news. It is the first shoot. It's shoot first directive is what it's called. Okay. In the event of an invasion of Greenland, the Danish military operates under a specific and historical unique set of standing orders that mandate an immediate aggressive response. These regulations are designed to ensure that the defense of Greenlandic sovereignty is not delayed by the need for political approval from Copenhagen in the heat of a crisis. So let's play this. Look, just for folks to hear. Is it playing? Here we go.
In the event of an invasion of Greenland, the Danish military operates under a specific and historically unique set of standing orders that mandate an immediate, aggressive response. These regulations are designed to ensure that the defense of Greenlandic sovereignty is not delayed by the need for political approval from Copenhagen in the heat of a crisis. 1. The Shoot First Directive. The primary order governing Danish forces in Greenland, specifically those under the Joint Arctic Command, is a Cold War-era regulation from 1952. Immediate engagement. Personnel are ordered to immediately take up the fight against any invading force. No waiting for orders. Unlike standard military protocols that require a formal rules of engagement, ROE, update or a declaration of war.
So, listen, there could be some people that think is a joke, but as you notice, they ain't sent none there yet. So the proof is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? If you want to test the shoot, there's only one way to test the shoot first directive, and that is to bring your ass there and find out. Very simple. And if you notice, they haven't done that, you know. And the bottom line is that you have to understand there will be bloodshed. You know, it's not going to be somebody said a lot. What are y'all talking about, man? You guys don't read the newspapers, bro. You all don't even watch you know, this is what's been reported on Danish news also on TV, the main TV channels. They've been discussing this. You know, it's not just international news, it's national news. These are the directives. This is what it's always been, you know. And I don't know in the U.S. if they have to call up to get orders when they be under attack. But in Denmark, no. When you're under attack, the military, that's it. You don't call Copenhagen. You handle your business first, you know? So, yeah, that's something a lot of, you know, but of course, you know, again, here's my thing like this, Walter Peters, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Let me see here. That's basically what I like to know. The United States, yeah, but it has like 3 people on the base, man. There's almost nobody on the base, man. And pretty much they surround it right now because the island, you can't even find out how many troops are on it. And let me tell you, there's a whole lot of troops on there right now. Yeah. And they took this very seriously. And yeah, there it is. So, you know, but again, there's only one way to find out. Denmark's not Venezuela. So, you know, people need to, you know, think about that, you know. Yeah, there it is. But look, let me ask everybody, let me know since I see a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to do this. Folks, I can see they haven't been here long because there's no symbol next to your name. Dennis, you welcome. Not you, Dennis. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. ain't doing shit yet. I haven't seen them done. I'll believe it when I see it. Fuck it, because you dealing with Trump, a narcissist, and I ain't got all day to be spending energy waiting on them fucking narcissists to figure out what they're gonna do, because they will never let you know what they're gonna do and shit until you fucked. So there's no point. Yeah, Angela, Army 451. What state do you live in, and who's your healthcare provider? Jack Baker, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Walter Peters, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? MJ11, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Yeah. Donovan, what state do you live in? Oh shit. Let me know what state you live in, Donovan. I feel you. That's true, though. Trump's more like pink, overweight pig than a goat. Oh, hell yeah. He ain't no goat by any means, man. This motherfucker's out there begging for a goddamn... Look at this. Should we troll his ass right now? Look at this. Come on, y'all. Let's have a little fun. This is who we talking about. Let's go see Trump. This is one of the punk ass trolls that came through here. Didn't want to say what state he live in or who his healthcare provider is, so we can qualify some of that bravado in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be living large in the chat. Look at this, though. Trump Trump is out here and he has goddamn the Karate Kid giving up his prize now. I mean, ain't this a damn shame? Dude was like, man, fuck it. We got to get this guy to stop, man. Give his ass your trophy, man. Give him your fucking trophy. Look at this. Who else is out there? God damn. They had to give him the Miss Teen Venezuela pageant and shit, prize trophy and shit, just to shut his ass up. You know, who else? Even Alien is getting in on it. Here you are. Please, Mr. Trump. Here. I mean, they are trolling the hell out of Trump. And look, his bitch ass changed his tune after he saw this shit and said, no, he don't want the prize. He didn't really want the damn, what is it called? whatever the Peace Prize is, Nobel Peace Prize out of Norway. No. Now he doesn't really want it after years of bitching about it. And now that people are trolling his ass like this, now he's just suddenly out of nowhere. No, I don't really want it. It's like, what the hell? You done had a lady come and give you her damn Nobel Peace Prize, and all of a sudden you don't want it. You don't want one. You didn't want one. No, you wanted one, you narcissist motherfucker. And it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, the dude really wanted. Karate Kid had to come out of hiding and shit and be like, here you go. They might make a new movie where they just end up giving Trump the motherfucking trophy and shit in a fight or some shit just to get it out of his fucking head. Trump is the bitch of all time. Like, straight up. He is. And he is. No prize for you, buddy. No prize for you. You are hated. And he's over. Anybody that's been capping for Trump in the government, anyone that's been helping Trump, anyone that said a kind word about Trump will never be in government again. Their political career, their government career, it's kaput. They done fucked it all up for themselves, and I suggest some of you people, if you really have your photo in any comments on Facebook where you were supporting Trump, I suggest you go to your Facebook and delete them. Go to your goddamn Instagram and delete them, because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking, and that shit stays out there. That shit stays on there forever, too. You better. All right, let me see here. Piece of guy. Is it just me, or does Trump behave like a spoiled brat that has never been told no or disciplined by his parents? Yes. It's not just you. He's a billionaire, man. He grew up coming outside of Trump Tower with his daddy and getting in the limousine. And right before they give him the limousine, they throw a nickel at a homeless guy right there on the corner and then Donald Trump went in that cab and was like, man, my daddy cares. He gave the poor guy a nickel. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, every day it's like this. So I think you're dealing with a person who's basically, and if he wasn't rich, they would say he's suffering from child neglect. That's what most narcissists suffer from. Child neglect. Straight up. Lack of love, lack of care, lack of attention. These are things that you can't buy with money. It only comes with spending personal time with your kids. Like, really, that's how it works. That's how you teach your kids the value of love, so they don't become sociopaths, narcissists and sociopaths. They have to get love. You have to have love inside of you to translate that to your kids. The community around you has to have love inside of them to translate that to children, to young people on a collective. You know what I mean? Like, so me, I was lucky because I got love from home, from both of my parents, from home. I got love from, I grew up in a 2-parent house, right? So I learned love through my parents, right? And also through having to work with my father and his, he had his own business and everything. So I had to learn his trade as a young kid. As a young kid, my father was a fine artist, so I had to learn and spend a lot of time with my father being nurtured. And then, so I got to, and then my school, I went to a really good school in DC, probably one of the best schools, you know what I mean? Like, really, I don't know how many people know what the school is called, but it's a group of schools called Capitol Hill Clusters, right? And it's like 3 schools, and everybody that went to this school, like myself, when we were 7, we went to school all the way up to from 7 years old, 6, 7 years old. We had the same teachers and the same students up until high school. So it was a very loving environment. You know what I'm saying? A really nurturing environment. The environment was great. And, but Trump doesn't come from that, man. Trump comes from an elitist family who looks down on people. Yeah, and treats people like shit. Trump's best friend, proof in the pudding, his best friend is the most prolific sex trafficker. How does your friend end up being the most prolific sex trafficker if you have a heart? If you have a heart, how's that your best friend? How's that possible? That means you don't have a heart. You know, you seen something cruel and you stayed around someone who was cruel. That's what you did. And you have to have problems to stay around a person like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my view of Trump. I think he's a piece of shit, you know? And yeah, I ain't got no problem saying it. You know, it's my opinion. It's my First Amendment right, you know? And it's my true feelings about him too. So, but in any case, let's see what the news is now for folks. How is the data looking? Let's see here. Is there any data coming up about this? Oh, I can see the net is a little slow right now. 2 seconds. Here we go.
Later this year, and that could be bad news for Republicans who are hanging on to a slim majority in the House. So let's go to.
They say that Trump had a message. They have some text messages out before we leave the Greenland thing. Had some text messages out about him talking to a NATO general. Look, I think it's all cap. To be honest with you, I think it's cap. Now, I'm not saying that that people should not prepare for war. I think the EU. I think these other countries should prepare for war in Greenland. Period. Just straight up with the United States. And, you know, yeah, because obviously the Republican Party, MAGA Mike Johnson, he didn't want to. He tried to make it seem like, no, nobody's talking about that. I never been talked to. Trump never talked to me about that. MAGA Mike Johnson said he thinks. Now, let me say this. How many of you think that this was all the Greenland is just a media hoax? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the Greenland thing is just made up by the media. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's all made up by the media, you know, and put a 2 in the chat if you think that's some bullshit. Now, MAGA Mike Johnson, he said it's made up all by the media. There's nothing there. It's just made up by the media. That's what MAGA Mike Johnson said. So you could see the Republicans don't agree. So the leader of the Republican Congress, right? The caucus says it's a hoax. It's made up by the media. Trump and his administration says it's real. So what does that tell you? When the Republican caucus leader says the exact opposite thing as the administration, what does that mean? What does it mean? I'm curious about that. Yeah, I'm curious. Jack Baker, who's your healthcare provider? What state do you live in? NATO can fight America and Russia. I mean, you know, I think it's like this. I don't think NATO, I don't think Russia. I mean, you got to understand something. Who is NATO, right? And there's a lot of other elements. You know, right now you're hearing about European countries coming there, but Canada doesn't have to come to Greenland because they're right across the water. And as you know, Canada is also a NATO country, you know, and Canada has a significant military, you know. So I really don't think most of the things people are talking are like have been out. I don't think it's realistic, to be honest. And again, I think this situation is a little different because you're dealing with military morale. The morale in the U.S. military is not great right now. It's not actually great, you know, and it's low. And morale to save and protect Greenland is high, you know. So people are out to deliver a blow to Trump, you know. Bits, there you go. I appreciate you, Bits. Yeah, thank everybody. Everybody thank Bits for the memberships, you know? Yeah, and go see some of those videos. So, yeah, go see some of the membership videos. Now, yeah, they have a significant military. Of course, you know, it's like people think that because the United States as one nation has the most powerful nation, you know, military, right? they think that no other country has any military because they're used to only hearing about China, Russia, which is overrated. Russia, I mean, the EU will whip, they will whip Russia's ass. There's 450 million people in the EU. Russia has 150 million people, so they will run out of soldiers. Obviously, Russia, 450 million people is 100 more million than the United States has. So the United States has less people to lose in a war. You're dealing with and that's not even counting Canada. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot more bodies. There's a lot more bodies that are not liking what the U.S. is doing right now. You see what I mean? And so you have to kind of account for that. Like, secondly, Canada knows everything about the U.S. military. They're our neighbors. You see, so it won't be a surprise. Nothing will be a surprise that the U.S. In this encounter, nothing will be a surprise. So the element of surprise you won't have. The United States military won't have. It's just that simple, because they know more about the U.S. than anybody because they're observing them more than anybody. You see what I'm saying? They're observing them a lot. So, and they know a lot because they typically work together, right? It's only under Trump that they don't work together. So, I think people overrate the challenge of the U.S. military trying to take Greenland. They just, like I said, people that don't know love, they try to cover up the lack of love that they have for themselves and misdirect it on some other conquest so they don't have to look at their own life. Because if you look at the reality of the U.S. dollar and the reality of inflation and the reality that more inflation is about to kick in and the reality that people are going, banks are going to start calling in their loans. When you look at it from that perspective, nobody that's an American citizen should be too confident about what's going down, what's actually happening. Let me see here. Politics is basically Trump is Frieza, MAGA Mike is Captain Ginyu, Elon Musk is Zamasu, Bernie is Master Roshi, AOC is Gohan, Yasmin is Vegeta, okay, Mark Kelly is Piccolo, Hakeem is Trunks, Kamala is Goku. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I just think MAGA people, they usually have their chest stuck out, because they usually stick their chest out and they confuse kindness for weakness. They think because nobody has kicked their chest in yet that it's not possible to kick it in, when in fact their whole body can be kicked in. You see what I mean? It's just not what people want to do, but if people given no other choice have to do, yeah, they will, and that's just the gist of it. But here, let's see some more about this, what they saying about the poll.
CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, what exactly are these poll numbers telling us, Harry?
Yeah, oh my goodness gracious. I can't believe it. The first year of the Trump administration already pretty much done. We got a midterm election coming up in November. And what are the poll results showing us? Well, that generic congressional ballot, right? That's matching up the Democrats versus the Republicans and the choice for Congress. And what do we see? We see the Democrats with an advantage on that generic ballot. Right now, they're ahead by 5 points. And what I think is so interesting is you look at this 5-point advantage, and it's the same exact advantage that Democrats held among registered voters when you went back to Trump's first term in January of 2018 at this point in the cycle. And why is that so notable? Because I don't know if you remember, Pam, but back in 2018, Democrats were looking to pick up the House majority. Republicans held, of course, the House of Representatives, and Democrats were able to net themselves 40 seats in the House come November. Now, I'm not quite sure they're going to be able to net that many seats this time around, but at least according to our CNN polling at this point, the Democrats' lead looks very much the same now as it did back during the 2018 cycle, and that's good news for Democrats. But that's not the only piece of good news in this poll, because, of course, if you know anything about midterm elections, you know that it's about turnout, right? Turnout is lower in a midterm election than it is in a presidential year, and it's all about that motivation to go out there and vote. And this is where I think it gets really interesting for Democrats. So if we break it down by motivation to vote, right? If you look at voters overall, Democrats have that 5-point advantage, which I mentioned. But look at those extremely motivated to turn out and vote. Those who would crawl over those hot coals to go out there and vote. And what do we see? We see the Democrats up by 16 points among those extremely motivated to vote. This makes a lot of sense to me, Pam. Why does it make a lot of sense? Because look at the elections that we had in 2025. We had Virginia governor. We had New Jersey governor. We had those special elections as well across the congressional special elections, as well as those for state legislative elections. And what we saw in those elections in 2025 were two things. One, that Democrats were far more likely to turn out than Republicans. And two, that resulted in Democrats vastly outperforming the 2024 baseline. So I think Democrats look at the voters overall, they say, hey, that's not too bad. But they look at the extremely motivated numbers and they say, ka-ching, because if that holds towards November, they think, hey, we got a pretty gosh darn good chance of winning back that House majority.
Yeah, we'll see how those numbers actually translate in reality. And voters are also expressing their level of confidence in their congressional leaders, right?
Yeah, so this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because we see these generic ballot results and you say, okay, you know what, this is good for Democrats. But then you look, okay, at the congressional leaders and say, okay, approve of these congressional leaders. For Democrats, just 28%. Just 28% of Americans approve of the job that the Democratic congressional leaders are doing, right? For Republicans, it's 35%. So more folks approve of congressional Republican leadership than they do of congressional Democratic leadership. Yet, you see that Democrats are leading on that congressional ballot. You go, that's very interesting. How could that be? Well, there are two reasons for why that is. Number one, Democrats are far less likely to approve of their own leaders than Republicans are. But here is the key nugget. When we're talking about
Exactly. It's a totally different mindset. Republicans, they let their leaders do nothing for the money. They're fine with paying their leaders top dollar, paying for their dentists, paying for their kids' private schools. Republican voters have no problem paying their leadership for things they don't actually get themselves. Democrat voters are not like that. Democrat voters want shit for their tax dollars. And as long as you're not giving them back shit for their tax dollars, they're not satisfied. And that's dangerous to an extent. It's not totally I mean, it's better than the opposite, right? But if you think about it, the dissatisfaction, it sometimes turns people out to not vote. It means people don't vote. But everybody, no matter who you are, vote. If you out here talking about going to a war, if you even have an opinion about Greenland and you ain't voting, something like your priorities are all backwards. Like, how would you, if you have an opinion about Israel, if you have an opinion about Venezuela, if you have an opinion about Iran, Canada, Greenland, and you don't vote, and you don't even vote, if you can vote, if you got an opinion about all that and you don't even vote, like, I don't know. Look, see, I don't think Jim Hogan votes. I don't think Jim Hogan, that's what I'm trying to say. They don't even encourage it, so I just think there's something there. Democrats, they're unsatisfied. Republicans are more easily satisfied. If you chase down some immigrants and like on cowboy horses and shit like that, they're satisfied. If you take down a couple of posters of Martin Luther King, they're satisfied, right? They're happy with their congressional members. They're happy paying them a salary, paying for their dentist, paying for their kids' private school, paying for their representative to do nothing and get things that they can't even get, a Republican voter can't even get themselves, like straight up. And I just think Democrat voters are different. Democrat voters, we will vote, but we ain't kissing no asses. You know, Republican voters, they literally kiss Trump's fucking ass. They kiss MAGA Mike Johnson's ass. And MAGA Mike Johnson is probably like, damn, these motherfuckers still believe me? Serious.
Term elections, it's about one person really and one person only. And that is the
MAGA Mike Johnson, you got all these Trump supporters out there talking about, you know, showing their interest in invading Greenland. And MAGA Mike Johnson is saying the opposite from what Trump is saying. And these people are not even critical of it. You know, they're not critical of Trump having the opposite public statements from the majority whip in Congress. That doesn't make any sense.
President of the United States. And take a look here. Choice for Congress, if you disapprove of Trump, and 59% of voters in our poll disapprove of Trump. Look at this. 76%, about 3 in 4, in fact, slightly more than 3 in 4, say they're going to vote for the Democrats for Congress, compared to just 8% who say they're going to vote for the Republicans for Congress.
Facts is facts.
So yes, it is absolutely the case that congressional leadership on the Democratic side is not well liked among Democrats compared to what we see historically, and not well liked compared to what we see among Republicans. But the truth is, that may not matter all that much, given that the man who's in charge of the executive branch is Donald John Trump, and right now the vast majority of Americans and voters don't like the job that he's doing. It kind of reminds me of what we saw back during the 2010 cycle, when there were a lot of folks who didn't like what Republican congressional leadership was doing. And guess what, Pam? It didn't matter, because voters didn't like the job that Barack Obama was doing back then, and they punished Democrats who lost control of the House in one of the largest waves, in fact, the largest wave of either of our lifetime.
Okay, so let's look at that for a second. That's interesting what he said. They punished Barack Obama, right? So listen, y'all, I'm about to put the chat. You know, I do this about midway through the stream, or over. I'm going to put the chat in subscriber mode. Those of you that want to remain in the chat, I suggest, if you're not subscribed, I suggest you get subscribed like right now in the next 3 seconds. Otherwise, you're going to be cut out of the chat. You will have to wait 5 minutes to get back in the chat if you press subscribe after, right? So, yeah, so let me just do the countdown now. I'm going to count down to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I do this because usually when the troll activity is getting too much and it's like senseless, you know, trolls often don't contribute to the actual conversation that we're having. You know, they just make random statements that, you know, so I want my subscribers to have a little bit more, how can I say this, holistic experience. And so it's not about the dissent. It's about actually knowing who's not a bot. You know, the bots often can't get around that. They can't subscribe. And yeah, exactly. You see what I mean? These kind of things. And a lot of times, yeah, sometimes these trolls can't subscribe either. Maybe the troll is like a AI troll, something like that, not a real human. But in any case, we're going to figure out how many of the people that were just in the chat are actually real folks, you know, pretty much. That's what we're going to do now. So that's why I like to start it off differently, and because it helps me qualify the statements that they're making too. You see what I'm saying? A lot of you got to understand, don't believe everybody in the chat is a real person, because you can't see their faces. Like you can't, you know, you have to go in and see, is this a real person? Check their account out. Don't just accept their statements to be a representative of a real human being. I mean, there are literally robot bots out there. You know what I'm saying? Literally designed to come to pages like mine and pretend that they're representatives of different groups. There was a person on here a person could come here and say something like, give themselves a name like white boy from the streets, to make you think this is a white boy from the streets making these kind of comments. Somebody could come in and say, you know, black man from whatever. And then a lot of other people might think it's an actual genuine black man. This is what social engineering is. This is what the algorithm that Putin and Elon Musk have out there hitting the population. Divisive things to make people go at each other, things to make people fight each other, things to make people divided so that the rich folk can continue to take the money. So we're seeing it already. You're already seeing how many of these people couldn't even click. You see, none of them could even click to subscribe. You see that? That's crazy. That's a whole lot of them. They just poof, couldn't even hit the subscribe button. It will be 10% of them at best that are real people. You see? So let's just go on here. Let me see. What else is there? We seen the data, right? But there's also something else that happened, y'all. Did you hear about this? Check this out. I don't know who this is, but this was unfortunate and is breaking news. It's in the last 24 hours. And it's about a judge who got killed last night, right? Something like that, or shot in his home, something like that. Here, let's check.
Indiana, where the FBI is helping the police track down whoever shot a state judge and his wife inside their home in Lafayette. Both did survive the shooting. Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman, though, has been speaking with his law enforcement contacts about what happened. Matt, good evening. What have you learned?
Tony, authorities in Indiana have launched that manhunt looking for that assailant who they say blasted a shotgun through the front door of that judge's home in a brazen middle of the day attack on Sunday.
There was a knock on the door. Someone advised we have your dog, and then a shot came through the door.
And when police responded, they found a shotgun shell on the front porch, and Superior Court Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly both with gunshot wounds. He was shot in the arm. She was shot in the hip. Both are now in stable condition. It happened in the city of Lafayette, about an hour north of Indianapolis. Now, the Chief Justice of Indiana released a statement saying that she is worried about the safety of all of our judges, and police have not released additional details about the suspect. And the sheriff said that they were not aware of a threat against this judge, but they have beefed up security at the courthouse today, and they say it'll remain beefed up for the foreseeable future, Tony.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yo, then there's more. Check this out. There's more news.
A warning for in Indiana after a judge and his wife were shot in their home over the weekend. It happened in Lafayette, Indiana. That's just a couple hours south of Chicago. ABC's Aaron Katersky is live with the new details we're learning this afternoon.
And you know, there's a lot of I think
and there is an urgent manhunt.
I think Indiana got a lot of Dems in Indiana. I'm not sure about this town or this particular judge, but from what I hear, they're very organized, and because of the economy, it's a workers' rights town. Like, people are concerned about the middle class and the elderly, the poor, the working poor, this kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Underway in and around Lafayette, Indiana now, Rob, for whoever shot Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly inside their home, where, according to police, somebody showed up, announced that they had the couple's dog, and then fired a shot through the door. The judge was hit in the arm. His wife sustained an injury to her hip. They're fine, and they are now recovering. In fact, Kimberly Meyer released a statement saying thank you to the community for its outpouring of support. But police have said nothing about a motive now or about whether they have a particular suspect in mind. They only gave a vague description of someone that they were looking for in a hoodie and sneakers. But the chief judge of Indiana more broadly is urging all judges in the state to remain vigilant. In 2024, judges in Indiana were asked whether they had received threats. A majority
Indiana's
said
a red
yes,
state,
and they're pushing for a state version of a federal law that would restrict online access to judges' home addresses.
Yeah. I'm not. I thought it was. I mean, I know some people in Indiana, but maybe it's their district or whatever. Likely, right? But yeah, Indiana's if it's a red state. I mean, I'm just curious about this. Also, just is this politically motivated? What do y'all think? Is this politically motivated? Like, is this? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's politically motivated. It could be right or left. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't think it is. Let me just see. They're looking for somebody. There's a suspect at large. So
the FBI and state police are now searching for the person who shot a Tippecanoe County judge and his wife over the weekend. News 8's Garrett Bergquist has an update on the judge's condition tonight.
Authorities say Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly will be okay, but the court system is now urging judges to beef up their personal security.
Dang.
Myers' front door bears witness to their narrow escape. Lafayette police say
yeah, dang. I did see that. I have a short up on my feed that has that kid in it. Yeah, they shot his ass right in the eye. That kid got shot with a canister. I believe it was a tear gas canister shot in the eye by the police. but it's brutal. I mean, it's like they were close to him, and yeah. But then there's again, we have these bots online. I think one of the challenges going forward is that, and the EU is rolling out something also about this disinformation online, troll accounts, and all of this stuff, because it does have an effect on people who maybe are not too detail oriented. People that look for approval from others generally will just accept that if there's 20 trolls and one real person, and the 20 trolls say one thing and the one real person says another, there's some people that would just go with the 20 trolls just because they just because it's like, it must be right because obviously it's real, so but I think the US is going to have to do this too. This advent of social media and the engineering that it does when there's false representation in it is a problem. So it's something people are going to have to deal with. And that's why I talk about it, and I try to change the chat up here, close it and open it. And I also try to engage some of the trolls. As you could see, none of them could tell you what state they're from or who the healthcare provider is. I mean, there's always a small fraction that can, and maybe those are real people. Likely they are. Some of them are real. But what I mean is generally like 80%, 90% never can tell you something like that, which lets you know they're likely trolls or bots.
Authorities say Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly will be okay, but the court system is now urging judges to beef up their personal security. The Myers' front door bears witness to their narrow escape. Lafayette police say someone shot them a little after 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Steve was hit in the arm and Kimberly was shot in the hip. They say in a joint statement, "We are incredibly grateful for the outpouring of support from the community. Everyone has been so kind and compassionate. We would also like to thank the medical personnel who provided care and assistance to us following the incident." Neighbors tell me they're relieved the couple is recovering. They did not want to go on camera, but they told me Meyer often handles some of Tippecanoe County's toughest cases. One neighbor told me Meyer always appears to be in a good mood, even after a day of handling those cases. Chief Justice Loretta Rush says, "Judge Steve Meyer is a fellow judge and a longtime friend. I'm deeply grateful he and his wife Kim are alive after having been shot in their home. Their health and well-being are of utmost concern to me. I worry about the safety of all our judges. As you work to peacefully resolve more than 1 million cases a year, you must not only feel safe, you must also be safe. Any violence against a judge or a judge's family is completely unacceptable. As public servants, you are dedicated to the rule of law." In that same memo, Rush directed Indiana's judges to remain vigilant in their own security. Lafayette police say this is now a joint investigation that includes the FBI, state police, and the Tippecanoe County Sheriff.
You know what I'm curious about? I didn't hear a description of the person that they're looking for. It says suspect at large, but they say man with a hoodie. I didn't hear them say who. So what's the description? Is it a immigrant? I mean, look, we have to say that nowadays because that's always the hot topic. Was it an immigrant? Some people, that's the first thing is to go pop in their head and shit. But what I want to know is this look, this is America. And unfortunately, this is how the conversation goes in America, in the United States of America. Was he white? Was he black? Was he Hispanic? Was he Arab? Or was he Muslim? That's going to be critical. Was he Christian also? That could also count. Was he, these things count. And I didn't hear them say that. Did he say white? He's a white dude? Okay. I didn't hear them say white male, hoodie. Let me hear that again.
Shot in the hip. They say in a joint statement, "We are incredibly grateful for the outpouring of..."
Yeah, at least he didn't set the house on fire, straight up.
"Support from the community. Everyone has been so..."
MJ says he's white if they didn't say it. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
"So kind and compassionate. We would also like to thank the medical personnel..."
Because they definitely would have been like, black, he's African. Black, he's Muslim. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't care if they say it myself, I don't care. Is that what it is? Because my issue is just when he's white, don't you leave him out now. You better count his ass and say that too. And when if he's Christian, let us know. Also, you know what I'm saying? but or any other religion, don't just leave people out or only have certain people in that, but let's see.
Care and assistance to us following the incident. Neighbors tell me they're relieved the couple is recovering. They did not want to go on camera, but they told me Meyer often handles some of Tippecanoe County's toughest cases.
It's the behavior. I agree. I don't really care. I don't care. It's the behavior. At the end of the day, it's the behavior. But it does make you kind of wonder, like, don't they want to find the dude? And if they want people to know who to look for, you need a description.
One neighbor told me Meyer always appears to be in a good mood, even after a day of handling those cases. Chief Justice Loretta Rush says, Judge Steve Meyer is a fellow judge and a longtime friend. I'm deeply grateful he and his wife Kim are alive after having been shot in their home. Their health and well-being are of utmost concern to me. I worry about the safety of all our judges. As you work to peacefully resolve more than 1 million cases a year, you must not only feel safe, you must also be safe. Any violence against a judge or a judge's family is completely unacceptable. As public servants, you are dedicated to the rule of law. In that same memo, Rush directed Indiana's judges to remain vigilant in their own security. Lafayette police say this is now a joint investigation that includes the FBI, state police, and the Tippecanoe County Sheriff. And police say if you have any information about the shooting, you should contact the Lafayette Police Department.
Did I not? What is it? Did I miss it?
Tonight.
Authorities say Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly will be okay, but the court system is now urging judges.
All right, so you know what I'm gonna do? Let me see if they got a description here. I saw your comment, Anonymous. Let me see here. I mean, dang, what were you saying? You were talking about a judge who turned his home into a brothel or some shit. All right, let me see here. 2 seconds. What is it? Illinois, right? Is it Illinois or Indiana? It must be Indiana. I'm sorry. That's where Michael Jackson is born. Indiana. What is his description? Let's see here. It's important to say it in this time. Listen, he obviously, they don't suspect he was an immigrant, right? Not yet. So I'm curious about that. Also, was he an immigrant? Because we hear all this talk about we need to get the murderers and the rapists who are immigrants who came in our country illegally off the streets. And I'm just like, damn, man. Well, how about we just get all the rapists and the murderers off the street too? Not just the immigrant ones. But in any case, as of January 2026, authorities have not yet released a physical description of the suspect involved in the shooting. Tippecanoe County Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly Meyer. The shooting occurred on the afternoon of Sunday, January 18, 2026, at their home in Lafayette, Indiana, while a massive multi-agency manhunt, including the FBI, Indiana State Police, Kash Patel. Please don't say a motherfucking thing, okay? We need to know the truth when somebody talks, okay? Is it just even before Kash Patel speaks? Kash Patel, shut the fuck up. Don't say anything. All right. State police manhunt is underway. Police have been very tight-lipped about the shooter's identity. They should have said the FBI has been. Okay, so they have an identity, but they're not saying it. That's not released to the public. That's curious, yo. What could the rationale of that be? What is that about? What's that? What do you all think the rationale of being tight-lipped about the identity of the shooter could be? What is it? They don't want him caught? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is tragic, but I don't get that. Is that normal? Maybe I go. All right, let me read some more of this. What we know about the incident. They're being tight-lipped about the shooter's identity or appearance. What we know about the incident. I mean, look, does that mean it's a white supremacist MAGA shooter? Is that what that means? I'm just curious about that. Is that what's happening? Like, they know who it is and they want to try to find the person first. They don't want, lefties out there in the world being like, well, I told you so. I told you so. Roots. All right, let me see here. What we know about the incident, the Roots. According to emergency dispatch recordings, the shooter reportedly knocked on the door and claimed, "We have your dog." When the door was approached or opened, shots were fired. Victim status: Judge Meyer was shot in the arm. Kimberly Meyer was shot in the hip. Both were okay, so they're alive. Both were transported to the hospital and currently in stable condition. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I hope they recover well, and and my sympathies to their family, because that's terrible. Evidence: police recovered shell casings at the scene, but have not announced any arrest or specific motive. Current security has been significantly increased for judges across Indiana, and extra protection has been assigned to the Tepecano Country Courthouse. Okay. All right. So they have a description. Let me see here. For the description. Let me see. I just want to see if there's somebody else do one more search on that. Okay. Yeah, they still haven't released it as of yet. So if anybody hears about that, let me know. I'm curious about who that is, and what that's going to be about. Now, there is something else that happened yesterday, and I wanted to say this. I even forgot to say it. I'm actually ashamed that I didn't say this yesterday, but yesterday was was the day where one of someone that I benefited from.
Augment Code just outperformed
a lot of people,
6 of the top AI code.
A lot of people that I know benefited from their work. SNCC, activists in the 60s,
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s church in Atlanta and in the nation's capital to honor the late civil rights leader. Today's remembrance, though, not getting the same type of recognition it has in the past. Late last year, the Trump administration got rid of admission-free days at national parks for both MLK Day and Juneteenth. In response, Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that most California state parks will have free entry today. Jean Theo Harris is a distinguished professor of political science and history at Brooklyn College of the City University of New York. She's also...
Yeah, so, today is the day, the federal holiday, or yesterday today is the federal holiday. It's the 20th, so that's today, right? It's a federal holiday, but the 19th was... is it the 15th is his birthday, I think, right? Let me know if I'm making a mistake. But in any case, big up to Martin Luther King, a person who lost his life sacrificing it for other people. And he wasn't the only one in the Freedom Riders who lost their lives. A lot of people lost their lives actually going down, doing the busing and, and doing other activities together in SNCC and in other organizations back in this time period in the 60s. So this is the period, whether you like it or not, this is the period that, if you're an American citizen, we stand on their shoulders, and because the United States was very different before the 70s, not that all problems got ended or all problems got resolved, but some did. In part, some did. And, I'm grateful. Me, myself, born and raised in Washington, D.C., I'm like one of the first generation. I'm born in 1970. So I'm like born fresh out of the 60s, and my father, he grew up in D.C. when it was segregated. You see what I'm saying? So I'm his child. And I grew up in a D.C. that was not segregated. Segregation was across the country. You see what I mean? In a lot of places, not everywhere, but in a lot of places, and particularly the South, right? So I didn't have that situation. You see what I mean? I didn't grow up where there were these rules enforced, although there were still economic, segregation, you could call it. There's still a, rich and poor, and that also segregates a lot of people, but I didn't have that too much of that myself. Living in DC it was full of activists and people that wanted the environment to be better than what it was and wanted children to grow up together. You see what I mean? So I benefited from that, but yeah, It's Martin Luther King's day. So big up to Martin Luther King and anybody who worked with him and all the civil rights leaders of that time, because you guys were up. You guys obviously did something very powerful, because people like Trump, the billionaires don't like the fact that people came together. They want people separated. It's much easier for them.
Author of King of the North, Martin Luther King Jr.'s life of struggle outside the South. Thank you for being here. How has the observance of this federal holiday changed since President Reagan signed it into law in 1983?
So Republicans signed it into law, and Donald Trump wants to take it away. That's crazy.
So I think we want to remember why President Reagan ran in 1980 against having a holiday for Martin Luther King. And Reagan changes his position in many ways because he sees it as politically useful for his reelection. And I think that gets us to, in some ways, the ways that the holiday is misused. It's used to make ourselves feel good and feel better, and it's not necessarily used to really honor the life and legacy of Martin Luther King, of Coretta Scott King, and what that asks of us today.
CBS's Scott McFarland is reporting multiple prosecutors in the DOJ's civil rights criminal section are leaving their jobs. And it comes after President Trump was quoted in the New York Times earlier this month saying,
because look, there's some significance there too for my life. And I see, I'm looking at the comments too. Don't think I'm not looking at them. I'm just reading them too, even though I'm not reading them out loud. But I see your comment, MJ. I see your comment. Also, who else left a comment? Somebody else left a comment about, where were they from? What was it? 45 Roni. Yeah, exactly. Now, for me, I think what that allowed me to do is my upbringing in DC after the 60s, since I'm a 70s kid, it allowed me to venture out into the world, just a little bit of, once segregation was broken in DC, so I didn't have those kind of bars in my mind. You know what I mean? Like I had some because obviously discrimination still exists in some levels, but it's not enforced by the law. Right. So people, it just changed. A lot of people don't want to be, don't agree, with discrimination. And let's be honest, the civil rights movement was everybody come together and support each other type of thing, for the people that played a part in it. Right. The people that didn't play a part in it, they weren't trying to come together, but for the people who did, right, these are people of different backgrounds that understood what the issue was, and one of my Facebook friends, Daryl, right? Daryl Scott, I think it's Professor Daryl Scott, if I'm saying it right. He was talking, making a reference to this today, how we forget like the Black Panther parties was powerful. They were for the people. They were for power for the people. That means all people. And they were for multiculturalism, So me coming up on the shoulders of all of that and the Black Panther movement, I wasn't afraid to go to different places and observe and see and learn different people and learn because it was familiar to me a little bit. You see what I mean? Like I wasn't scared because it wasn't the first time I saw somebody that looked different or acted different or ate different food. It wasn't the first time. I had it right in the city I come from. You see what I mean? So I wasn't a stranger so much anymore. So that kind of helped me venture further out and also appreciate other, listen, man, I done met some real solid people from a lot of different backgrounds, man. In New York, that I've been blessed. And also not that I don't have a lot of black friends that I know, because I definitely do. And I definitely spend a lot of time around black friends, but not exclusively only. You see what I mean? And but I have a lot of black friends, and we all know what the black experience is. But the only difference is that we don't really try to use it as a wand. We don't try to weaponize it against other people. We tried, and other people didn't weaponize shit against me. You see what I mean? It's like you try to get together where you can get together and let everybody have a nice time together. You see what I mean? Let everybody support each other. But having said that shit, I've met some really cool people from different backgrounds, man. Through different friends of mine and through some different situations. Like one Italian guy in my homeboy Tim hooked me up with Gabe, this guy named Gabe. When I was in Denmark for a little bit, and I went back to the States, and I showed up in New York, and Gabe, I was doing freelance, right, multimedia, and Gabe was one of and particularly doing videos, right, editing. And one of my homeboys, he was a cameraman from what is it, Panavision? Yeah. So but this guy, he hooked me up with Gabe, the 3G studio, Gabe from Manhattan. I don't know if any of y'all from New York in here, but if you into film and you were around in the let's say 2000s or before, you definitely know 3G stage, because that's where MTV got their shot, in his stage, in 3G stage in mid Manhattan, right? But Gabe is an Italian guy, right? So Gabe is a solid dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a solid dude. If you was an aspiring filmmaker, you could come in there and get some lighting or some equipment on tick without, for scratch money. You see what I mean? If you was trying to get in the industry, Gabe was solid like that. You know what I mean? And everybody in New York that was an aspiring, Spike Lee did his, one of his first things in there. Now, everybody that was an aspiring filmmaker, music video director, everybody know Gabe, 3G stage, because they also rented out gaffing equipment and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is that, and he's not the only one, you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is that, there's a lot of people out there that want to meet new talent, and they want to find out what you can do, what skills you have. And sometimes those people are going to be from different, ethnic groups or whatever. But listen, I mean, I can tell you, none of the people that I met, all of them did more for me than I did for them. You see what I'm saying? Like, straight up, all of them, just right off of the bat, just by exposing me to something that I didn't know. You see what I mean? Hanging around in 3G stage, I got to see, how does a stage really work? How does that work? What is that? Who does this job? Who does that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and the list goes on and on and on. The lingerie king of New York. You know what I'm saying? Big up to the lingerie king of New York. I mean, hired me freelancing for this is back in the 2000s, $20 an hour freelancing, doing computer networking. You know what I'm saying? Because I went to school for communications over here. So when I was back in the States, I got to work, do freelance and, multimedia, communications, computer technology, this kind of stuff. So this dude, the underwear king of New York, I know I'm rambling, but the underwear king of New York, the lingerie king of New York, Midtown also, man, I got into the office and started doing my little freelance shit there, right? Just linking to doing some networking, right? And dude told me his whole goddamn how he got to be the lingerie king. And so I was able to learn how he did it. And he told me all his little secrets. He had no problem, Jewish guy, you know what I'm saying? Sat down, paid me, and I came in there every day to do his networking. And while I was there, he just was kicking it with me. No problem. You see, so what I'm saying is that sometimes you have to look at what's there too. You can't count it all out, and you have to be adventurous enough to make sure that you on your journey. You're not just on somebody else's journey in your life. You're on your journey. You're not just a follower of what someone else says you can do. You're actually a trendsetter. You see what I mean? At some point, you got to get there in your life. Otherwise, you're going to miss a whole lot of shit that nobody else could ever tell you, is out there. You see what I mean? So, having said that, big up to Martin Luther King, all the civil rights activists who allowed us, people like myself, to have those opportunities because maybe there were less of the opportunities there before. There were less of those opportunities. So, yeah. And as you could see, some people just don't get it. Now, here, this is how extreme it is. You're going to have people out there that are against Martin Luther King, and these people are also against, guess who else they're against? For no reason at all. I mean, this is how bad it gets when you think about the senselessness of this, being against and being bigoted. These same people that hated Martin Luther King and the MAGA group, you know, that hate civil rights movement, they hate it. They don't even know what it was, but they hate it. They hate these people too. These are Native Americans, and they hate them.
Tribal members who were picked up by ICE in a community called Little Earth right here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And one of them has been released, but they couldn't locate the other 3. So the council members here, they're all elected officials of the Oglala Sioux tribe, and they gained access to the facility, and they couldn't find their 3 tribal members. They claim that they're not classifying them by their nationality, which tribal members are also citizens of the United States since 1924. You know, there's nobody more American than American Indians, but they were unable to find them here today, and so they're going to continue on. They got some contact information. They love the fact that you're here, that everybody's here, and they're going to be giving out tribal IDs to their tribal members who are in Minneapolis, St. Paul, at the American Indian Center down on Franklin Avenue. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here. Stay vigilant and stay assertive, stay constructive. We're in unprecedented times, the way that I see it. So my name is Chase Iron Eyes. I'm an Oglala Sioux tribal member. I'm a constituent of the elected officials that made a trip all the way here. And that is Donroy Gosper. I just want to recognize them for a second. Councilman Donroy Gosper, Councilman George Dreamer, Councilman Garfield Steele, Councilman Tyler Lunderman, and there's one more, Councilman Ryan Jumping Eagle. They came all the way here to retrieve their tribal members who were captured by ICE, and we failed in that mission today, but it will continue. So stay where you're at and stay vigilant is all I can say. We're all concerned about, you know, this white supremacist influencer coming into town in less than 48 hours. We don't know their route, but our goal is to keep the good people of Minneapolis, St. Paul safe. So thank you very much.
Coming from Oglala, we have one message. ICE is not allowed in the reservation. We're closing our borders to any ICE agents. You're not allowed to come terrorize our tribal members on our homeland. You're not allowed on our fucking reservation. Period. Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you. We're sorry that this is happening. Thank you. We won't forget your people.
And you were, so they're still in there too?
Yeah, they're still in there, or they don't know where they're at. They're claiming they have not self-identified.
What was your name, sir?
Chase Iron Eyes.
Why did ICE take them, did they say?
These are houseless relatives. They're
yeah, you know,
homeless folks.
the likeliness of them not self-identifying is slim because Native Americans are, I mean, why would you not identify yourself as a Native American if you were? That probably means maybe they didn't accept the ID that they had or something like that, or they just are questioning their identity. But I mean, you know, to me, that doesn't sound right. To me, it sounds like Native Americans are eager to tell you they're Native. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so ICE has them and they're detained and they're claiming to not know who they're talking about because people don't self-identify. They haven't told them who they are. So they just lost.
And they must have been doing a sweep. They don't know. They claim not to know anything. So we're going to continue the search.
How many?
There are 4 initially, but 1 has been released. Oglala Sioux tribal member. And so 3 of them are either in there and they don't know that they're in there, or they were transferred to some other facility, or some other agency might have picked them up.
And they were just on the street in
down in Little Earth, down right by the bridge on Cedar Avenue there in Minneapolis.
And they didn't give them any reason that you heard of why?
No, we don't know. We don't know why they picked up Native Americans.
Or why they released one person?
No, they weren't able to tell us any of that. The Department of Homeland Security, you know, Kristi Noem used to be the governor of South Dakota, and a lot of these elected officials voted to ban Kristi Noem from access to the Pine Ridge Reservation. In fact, all the 9 tribes eventually voted to disallow Kristi Noem onto the reservations, and it stands that way today. So our tribal membership, our tribal leadership is concerned about retaliation. But we're in this together, and the fact that we're dealing with deliberate instigations of violence against tribal members, against American citizens, against peaceable American families, puts us in a place where the dividing line between law and order and lawlessness is being blurred at all times. So we're going to be here for the long haul. We're here for the duration, and we'll find our people.
Where are you coming here today from?
I'm coming from the Standing Rock Reservation and Pine Ridge Reservations. That's where I'm a member of. I used to be a member of Standing Rock. It's all one nation, Lakota Nation. But yeah, we're here supporting the Native American community in Minneapolis.
And you did find the 3 that are still in there?
We haven't found them. We got to continue.
They let you go.
I know.
They let you go into the jail?
Yeah, no, we didn't get access to the jail. Just right there into the
So you
access
can only get to
desk.
the lobby?
Yeah, only to the lobby. We got to speak with DHS officials, HSI officials, ICE officials, and they gave us contact information to follow up. So
what did they just said no when you said, can we see your jail?
We didn't ask to go inside. It was a secured area, and so we were just waiting to, hopefully they were going to be able to get our tribal members and bring them to us, but that didn't happen today.
What has been your emotional response of nation members being pulled in by immigration services? I mean, the irony I don't even know if irony is the right word.
Yeah, well, it's a...
And listen, this is a big phenomenon too. Like, all inside of this whole structure is like just weirdness. First of all, there's this dynamic of, can you imagine being Native American and someone else who's not Native American is IDing you? Like, can you imagine that? But the trip of it is that it could be a person who's like first generation American is IDing his ass. Like a person, it could be a natural. No, it can be even more. It can be a person who has just been naturalized as an American citizen that works for ICE. That's asking this dude for ID. Listen, I remember, I started having that feeling sometime when I was flying back and forth into the U.S. and getting stopped, not stopped, but, at customs, just thinking, damn, I'm flying into my own city and someone is asking me who the hell I am. I'm flying into my own town. And someone's asking me, like, how long you been abroad and why were you there? Like, sometimes they try to ask you questions like that. Is it personal or is it business? And I had to tell one dude, it's my personal business. You know what I mean? And, but, this kind of thing, these kind of checks, and I'm saying I'm not stupid because I know a lot of, I've been around the U.S. and seen a lot of different types of Americans. So I know when someone who's not from the D.C. area is in that vicinity, DC, Virginia, or Baltimore area. I know when the person talking to me is not from that region. So for me, it just kind of felt funny to have someone who's not even from that region asking me all these questions. It's just like, here's the passport, dude. What else do you need? You don't need anything else. Like, open the door, move on. But for this guy, it must feel equally or even worse because your whole experience is dealing with people that are maybe less American than you in some kind of way, right? Depending on how you define American. I mean, this is an ethnic Native American. His ancestors are from the soil of America. Like, he has no immigration in his family history. None. He has no coming from any other part of the world in his family's history, and someone else likely who does is questioning him, locking him up. I mean, can you imagine this? So when they go this bad, it kind of shows you that how fucked up it is going to be for everybody else. You see what I mean? Because there's no method to the madness. And here's something else. Did you know? I don't know if you all heard this, that they're recruiting people for the National Guard now. Let me bring that up. And they're in Minnesota. Let me see here. Is there? Look, they're telling people that it will help them. It will help their family members. You could sign up and listen to this. I just have to play this for you because I don't know how many people have heard this. They're recruiting ICE in Minnesota starting at 18 years of age. And listen to this. Listen to this.
Yes, this is currently a significant topic in Minnesota. There have been recent reports of Minnesota National Guard recruiters reaching out to high school students, specifically around age 18, and mentioning that joining can help protect immigrant family members from deportation. Here is the breakdown of the program they are referring to and how the rules work as of early 2026. 1. The program, Military Parole in Place, PIP. The specific benefit being advertised is called Military Parole in Place. This is not a new law, but it is a discretionary program run by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS.
So you see, damn, MJ, I see your comment. You said, whoa, hold on. MJ said, I lost my paperwork, called Boston Health Department. They asked me if my mom and dad married. Look, man, I carry a passport, you know what I'm saying? Multiple IDs, but I always carry a passport when I go in the US. But man, you know, this is just too crazy. It's unserious. There's no organization to ICE. There's no organized methodology that they use. They just hit the damn streets and just say whatever and do whatever, you know, and that is just, nobody should have to deal with that. And this is what I'm saying. Our tax dollars, well, not mine, because my tax dollars go here in Denmark, even though I'm an American citizen, I live here, but typically American citizens' tax dollars go to this. It's paying for them to be stupid. It's paying for the Gestapo. Exactly, Bits. It's paying for the Gestapo. And it's like, I mean, this is the worst part about it, I would say, that our tax dollars fund this. And listen, January 30th, you know, Trump is talking about sending the military out there to Greenland. He's talking about these wars. Let me tell you something. January 30th, all that can stop because another shutdown can happen. And they're looking for the Democrats to support the budget. They need 2/3 of congressional members to pay the federal budget. Remember, it got kicked down the can. So now it's only 10 more days, 11 days. 11 days. If they don't have an agreement between Republicans and Democrats, another shutdown will be there. But the thing is that ICE still gets paid a little bit because they got some forward payment, something like that. But some of them won't get paid, but military won't get paid at all. You see what I'm saying? So the military won't get paid. And yeah. So how many of you are in favor of the federal budget not being passed? You know, how many are you in favor of that? They say it will help. It will hurt some programs. But look, Trump is already trying to stop programs. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not me that's going to be punished myself. But Trump, it seems like Congress is unhinged. So why pay them? Why pay? You know, listen, the Supreme Court eventually will be hurt by the federal budget not being passed. Yeah, shut it down for 3 months, right? That's what I'm thinking too. Big girl, what's up? What's up, Beth? Let me see. MJ says, just says literally repeating history. Yeah, facts. Jay says, MJ, I can't get my paperwork if my mom and dad wasn't married. They have to get it for me. Question was stupid and none of their. That is weird. That's a dumbass question. Your mom and dad married? What the fuck? I mean, yeah, who cares, right? I mean, did they have to get married to pop out babies? No. So shut it down for 3 months. That's what I think, just like, for real, man. And then don't fund it for more than 2 months at a time. Like, only fund it for 2 months at a time until Trump is out of this place. Like, straight up, because this Congress is unhinged. They should have impeached Trump already, and they're still sitting there acting like this dude is normal. And let me see, Edwards. That bit's just looked up on the radio. Just looked up rodeo. I'm sorry, and I'm actually on my way to Phoenix. Maybe a little roundabout, but still a pretty straight shot from it. Okay, let me see. MREs are available. MREs, okay. What should holding up? Yeah, we should hold up everything until they learn. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, listen, because look, just think about this thing about Greenland. Trump is actually thinking about sending them, but we can have a new slogan called "Not on my dollar," not on my dollar, not on my tax dollar. And they need 2/3 of the Congress. That means they need significant Democrat support to pass a budget. Let me see here. Congress ain't doing nothing to earn their money. Yeah, Bev, straight up. You right. Stop it. Okay, I hear you. Supreme Court doesn't care about their paychecks. They're bought and paid. Yeah, they are. Yeah, some of them are. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them. But I'm not saying I agree. Maybe they're getting money on the table, but no, that's not true, my friend. You're missing the point. But I understand your sentiment. Here's what it does. They're not going. Nobody private entities cannot fund the military. Private entities cannot fund the Supreme Court. So that means they won't be operating. You see what I'm saying? After a certain amount of time, they will run out of their money and they won't be able to operate, meaning courts won't be able to process cases. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but that's what I was getting at too. I forgot that aspect of it. But I hear you where you're coming from. They are some corrupt. A good number of them are very corrupt. Let me see. Jess said, V Media, did you learn about boarding schools for Native Americans in school? Nope. I didn't learn anything about. I learned. I have to say I didn't learn much about boarding schools, but I don't think it was from school that I learned a little about boarding schools, but it's a typical practice, kind of like Christianizing them or trying to strip them out of their nativeness, you could say. Is that what you're talking about? All right, let me see. Back to 70s and 80s, the only way to track your medical history was through your parents sometimes. Yeah, true. That's true. Okay, let me see. This Congress doesn't deserve a paycheck. I hear you, big girl. Yeah, you're right. Cory Booker needs to go. He will fund ICE, New Jersey, vote his ass out. Is that true? Is Cory Booker supporting ICE? Is he doing that, Crystal? Shit, I mean, yeah, that's hard. That's whack. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, you hear me, right? It's something about the budget and the structure, how to operate, and it's the same for the military. Like, I think personnel wise, and let me just look that up. I did look that up some time ago. I've been looking into that, but I can't remember exactly. But what happens if let me see here. Let's see. What happens if the military and Supreme Court are not funded by Jan 31, 2026 by Congress, right? And the rest of the gov. Let's just go through that real quick for people here. I can pull this up. Let me see here. Boom. Take my camera off. All right, let me see here. If Congress fails to pass the funding bill by midnight, January 30th, 2026, the U.S. government will enter a partial shutdown on February 1st. However, the military and Supreme Court are in very different positions this time compared to previous shutdowns due to laws passed last year. Oh, really? Damn, that's news to me. I didn't hear that. All right, military partially safe. Unlike most of the government, parts of the military are already funded through September 30th, 2026. Okay, that was a mistake. Military construction. In November 2025, Congress passed the Military Construction Veterans Affairs Bill full year. This means projects like building barracks or fixing bases will continue. Okay, well, that's normal. Okay, so Active duty operations. All active duty troops must continue to report for duty because their work is considered essential, but I don't think they get paid. The pay issue. While they must work, they might not get paid on time. There is a bill currently. So that's true. So that's what I'm getting at. So you see that one? You see that one? Who was that who said that to me? That was Thornton, right? Yeah, Ed, you see? So they actually don't get paid without this. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying shut the whole damn thing down. Like, forget it, because, until we get a president that acts right and a Congress that acts right. You can't have a president that's sending our military to go kill people or attack or steal oil or try to steal Greenland. Fuck all of that. People can't get paid for that, man. Forget it. Forget it. They need Democrats. Look, listen, Republicans need liberal votes. They need liberal support to pay for the rest of this stuff. So my view is liberals should not pay for shit because liberals have the right to live in peace, live in harmony, not live under threat, and especially not have our money be used to go attack people at the whim of a psychopath, So, but in any case, let's see the rest. Active duty. All active duty troops must continue to work. The pay issues while work. They may not be paid on time. There's a bill currently being debated called the Pay Our Troops Act of 2026, which would ensure paychecks keep flowing even during the shutdown. But if that doesn't pass, troops will only receive back pay. I say don't pass it. Don't pass it until we get Trump out of there. Yeah. Why pay people to go kill, for Trump? The Supreme Court constitutional protection. The Supreme Court usually remains open longer than other agencies during a shutdown. Fee-based funding. The federal court system, including the Supreme Court, can often run for several weeks. The weeks is not long, right? Weeks is not long at all. Right? So that's like a month. Using non-appropriated funds, money they collect from filing fees and other sources, right? Constitutional duties. Because the Supreme Court is a separate branch of government with duties defined by the Constitution, the justices and their essential staff stay on the job. Okay, they got to stay on the job. Recent security boosts. In November 2025, a specific anomaly was passed that provided extra funding specifically for Supreme Court security, meaning the police protection detail for the justices are unlikely to be affected by the January 31st elapse. So the security gets paid. What will actually stop? If the deadline is missed, the shutdown will most likely remain 9 departments that haven't been funded for a full year yet. Okay. Likely to stay open, likely furloughed. Military operations, active duty, likely to stay open. Department of Defense, non-essentials, right? Likely shut down or furloughed. Veteran affairs, likely to stay open. National park visitors, central bathrooms, likely furloughed. Supreme Court hearings, security, stay open. IRS tax processing may slow down. See, there's some benefit there. You got to take what you can get. Yeah. At this point, I say disruption is the key. Border Patrol and FBI, passport and visa offices likely to shut down. Well, I got my passport. So, yeah. And visa, that's just for people trying to come in the country. So, that doesn't apply to people trying to leave. Let me see here. Key dates to watch. January 26th, Senate resumes sessions to vote on a minibus of spending bills, Treasury, and State Department. So people need to keep an eye on January 26th. That's 6 days from today. January 30th, ultimate deadline. If no deal is reached by midnight, the lapse begins. February 1st, the first day of the partial shutdown. So there it is. That's what it is. And yeah, I'm for a shutdown. I don't know about most of y'all, but I think you got to exercise power before people take you seriously and people understand your situation, And I don't think Dems should be afraid to shut the government down at all. Yeah, because right now we basically have a delinquent government anyway. So why should things be getting funded? There's more that get funded now. There's a lot more people that get funded. There's a whole government that may not even get funded. Everybody in is not essential. Right. And even a lot of the essential people have to work without pay. So, yeah, shut this shit down, Rafika. That's what I'm saying. Like, because listen, there's a lot of people that's going to suffer. Even if the government stays open, there's a lot of people that are going to suffer. So why shouldn't everybody suffer? I mean, if you're suffering, won't that force everybody to put more pressure on the government to get this dude out of here, to get this Congress active? I mean, to me it seems like it's better all for one for all than to be like, let small groups of people suffer alone. You know what I'm saying? Because because although you survive, who's going to be there to protect you when it's your turn? You see what I'm saying? So, so that's how I see it. But let me see what else is here. There's one other thing here. Right. These petty ass motherfuckers plan on prosecuting Don Lemon. Do you know that? Don Lemon just busted out Nicki Minaj. Right. I don't even normally watch Don Lemon, but I watched his ass bust Nicki Minaj's ass out. And that was hilarious. As a matter of fact, I got to pull that up right now because he really dissed her. I mean, and this, again, we talking about this phenomenon of like, we got immigrant police, naturalized ICE agents, right? Naturalized American citizen ICE agents detaining, Native Americans. And I'm not for all the separation because I could care less, man. For me, it's about a person's character, no matter what you're dealing with. But there's a lot of people that, they really wanted to go hard on immigrants. They said it was illegals, but what they really meant was immigrants, right? That's just code word for fuck them all. But when you're in an immigrant country, a country largely most of the people here are immigrants in an immigrant background in the U.S. So that just means really it opens the door to screw over a whole lot of people. And, this is the dynamic. Then you got Nicki Minaj. She's not even she's not even an American citizen, yo. And she's out here capping for Trump. Oh my God. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This is what we have to deal with today. Like straight up. And it is the most bizarre shit that I've ever heard of, but we have to hear it. I don't know what else to say. Where is this at? Can we see it here? Let me try to find a decent clip of it. Hold on. Let me see here. Is there a decent clip of this? This is the most bizarre shit I've ever heard of. Yeah, this is the most bizarre stuff I've ever heard of. And it just is what it is. Trump has opened up a whole nother thing with this immigrant stuff because there's so many people that are immigrants. Let me see here. Did he do it on, is that what he did? Did he do it on TikTok? Is that what he did? Is that what he did? Okay, well screw it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to find iHip, right? And see what iHip is saying about this. 2 seconds here. Come on. Let's see there. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Let me pull that up. Here we go. Can y'all see this? Here we go. Yeah, so this is iHip. Everybody knows iHip News, right? So check this out.
The Trump administration has a huge problem with the First Amendment. Kylie put up this tweet from little DL Queen Benny Johnson. Breaking, DOJ announces intention to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act. I want to remind everybody that Don Lemon is a Black man, and today is Martin Luther King Day. And I have to join us right now none other then best friend of iHip News, Don Lemon. Don, how did you hear about this?
I heard of someone texted me and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry that you're going through this." And I said, "Going through what?" Because I've been traveling all night. I was in Minnesota, and that's how I heard about it. But I haven't heard anything from anybody, DOJ officially. I've just heard lots of people just yapping, on either the internet, on social media, or on
What the hell? I didn't even hear about this.
conservative, podcast, or
I thought they was talking about Nicki Minaj. Let me see here.
Fox News.
All right. So walk us through this. You went to Minnesota. You're an independent journalist. I'm sure everybody's abundantly clear with your work. And you are reporting on all of these ICE protests, and you end up at a church. Is that what this is regarding?
Yeah. So I went to Minneapolis to cover the unrest there. And I got I was asking people what's going on the ground. I'm going to get there. Should I go directly to the Whipple, whatever? And they said, well, there's this thing happening that they've been sending out flyers for. Perhaps you want to cover this. So I said, sure. And I went, okay, I'll cover. And then when I went to cover it, they said, we're doing this protest that is sort of similar to the civil rights movement, where they show up places and they sort of disrupt the peace, like sitting in at lunch counters or, drinking out of water fountains that were only supposed to be for white people. And I said, sure, I'll go, I'll chronicle it. And they ended up at a church. I didn't even know they were going to a church. They ended up at a church. And so once they went in and did their thing, other journalists started going in, and I went in. So I'm not exactly sure, Jen, how I became the face of it, unless they just think I'm the bigger name, but it's bizarre. And I reported on it. I interviewed everyone there, the pastor, some of the congregants, and the protesters. And that was it. And now all of a sudden it blew up into this big thing where I am the one who is leading the protest, and somehow I'm the agitator here when I'm just the journalist. Well, I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me.
Let me see here. So they charging Don Lemon with the Ku Klux Klan thing? What the hell is this?
And today is Martin Luther King Day. And the Trump administration has a huge problem with the First Amendment. Kylie put up this tweet from little DL Queen Benny Johnson. Breaking: DOJ announces intention to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act.
The Ku Klux Klan Act. Hold on. Let me look that up before we play the Nicki Minaj clip with Don Lemon. Okay. What is the Ku Klux Klan Act? Is that what they call it? I mean, this is surreal, but this is where we at today in the Trump administration. The Ku Klux Klan Act, formerly enforced Act of 1871, is the federal law originally designed to combat the white supremacist terrorism of the first Ku Klux Klan during the Reconstruction era. It has become a major topic of conversation in the last 48 hours because of Trump. Okay, following a high-profile incident in Minnesota involving journalist Don Lemon. I heard him. He went there with this farmer. What is it? City something farmer. The dude who goes around yelling at these fascists all the time. He was there in the church with them, I believe, or same location. It has become a major topic. Okay, so what the law does, signed by President Ulysses S. Grant. I mean, the act was created to enforce the 14th Amendment. Yeah. 14th Amendment promise of equal protection. Its key features include civil rights protection. It allows individuals to sue the federal court if their constitutional rights are violated by the state officials or private conspiracies. Private conspiracies? Okay, presidential power. It gives the president the authority to use military to suppress insurrection or domestic violence that deprives people of their rights. Conspiracy charges. It makes it a federal crime for two or more people to conspire to deprive someone of their rights through intimidation, force, or threats. Shit, they could have charged the ICE officers with this, basically. I mean, what the hell? Why is it not new? Why is it news today? As of January 20th, the Department of Justice under Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, here we go again, Harmeet Dillon, has suggested they may use the act to charge Don Lemon and anti-ICE protesters in Minnesota. Now, who the hell is Harmit Dillon? Let me look that up real quick. I just want to see who the hell that is. I'm telling you, I mean, this is going to get interesting, but let me see. I really wanted to, look at this. Look at this. Where is she from? Let me see something. Background. I should just ask straight out. Is she an immigrant? That's what I'm going to do. Is Hamid, is blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is really where the lunacy comes in, but I like to check this. A immigrant or her family. I just have to point this out. Let's see here. Luck of the draw. Let's see. This is like playing craps. Roll the dice. Yes, she was born in Kandahar, India, to a Punjab Sikh family. Her family moved to London before even settling in the United States when she was a child. I mean, you see why I like to check this shit? This is the most bizarre shit ever. This is bizarre. How bizarre? How bizarre? How bizarre? How bizarre? I should play that song. That shit is crazy, man. How bizarre? How bizarre? How bizarre? This is so bullshit. Let me see this, man. God damn. God damn. All right, let's go back. I got to see the chat. This is crazy, man. I know y'all losing your mind. I know you all. You all are losing your minds right now. I told you it's always good to double check, and I have a good sense. You know what I'm saying? I have a good sense and shit. Something made me think, somebody, her name, she want to go after Don Lemon? She want to go after Don Lemon? What the? Is this another case of wacky immigrant I'm smelling that is pro-Trump? Yes. This is some bullshit. Yo, the ladies are funny. Is this another case of pick me? I mean, I'm just like, God damn. Did I just read this? Fascism is expensive. This is just crazy. This is all loony. Now let's go to the next story, because look, Don Lemon's been caught up in all this crazy shit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is just weird. This is just damn weird. I don't know what else to say, but here, let's rock this shit real quick, because people have to see this this Don Lemon crap with Nicki Minaj. This is just how bizarre. How bizarre. I'm gonna have to write a song about this. Don Lemon. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Nicki Minaj.
All right, hold on. What the hell is going on here? Now, I'm gonna have to skip a little bit of this just so people can see it. Come on now. Can y'all see this? Pull it out. Here we go. Now, this is reported through TMZ, so let me let them talk. Ba ba ba, boo boo boo. Get through this part. La la la, lee lee lee. All right, here we go. Now let's hear from Don right here.
I'm not surprised she went after you.
It's homophobic. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me Don, sea sucker lemon is disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to.
Yeah, so he's about to bust Nicki Minaj open. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so let's see his face when he does it.
Things like this, but F it. I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. For I don't think she's one of them, obviously, and she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported, because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented, and so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting. I have lots of gay friends who love.
You can't make this shit up. I didn't make it up. When I was searching, when I just said, somebody want to charge Don Lemon, I bet you that smells like some of this bizarre ass immigrant Trump supporting shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me look her name up and see if she's an immigrant. And it was an immigrant who's going after who works for Trump administration, going after goddamn Don Lemon. Like, what the fuck? Like, where's it going to end? Where's it going to end? Now, flip out. We got sound, baby. We got sound. You know, maybe check yours. Let me just check the sound here. Let's see here. In case y'all can't hear me. But I'm pretty sure the sound is going out to you because I'm looking at the mixer right here. But let me see here. Here we go. Somebody in the chat said the sound's not doing well. Yeah, you got sound. You got sound issues, baby. Flipping out. But in any case, yeah. But it was, and it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. But here we go. Let's hear
Nicki
some more.
Minaj, why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there. A better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the fuck down. And by the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? Oh! She has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure.
Damn, Don Lemon is going. Don Lemon was like, man, fuck this. I'm tired of being polite. Let's hear some more.
By the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? And she has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's part of the reason that she is cozying up to the Trump administration for some sort of leniency for her family members. And it's just very transparent. So Nicki Minaj, F off, stop being a homophobic bigot, and, get a life and some brains.
Damn, get a life and some brains, Nicki Minaj. Did you hear that? Wow. That was deep. And I can't blame Don Lemon. I can't blame him. I don't normally check in on Don Lemon, but I just happened to see it, and I said something about Nicki Minaj attacked him or said something. And I was like, you know what? Let me hear this. Damn, what's going on here? And I heard Don Lemon's response, and I was like, damn, he just like, this was a different Don Lemon. This was a different Don Lemon, and he wasn't going for it. This wasn't the CNN Don Lemon. This was like the other Don Lemon, the one after work that you might meet any day of the week. He roasted her ass, boy. Let me tell you. He met the real Don Lemon. She met the real Don Lemon, yo. I bet you that was a shocker for her, but it is kind of like this Trump mentality, thinking they always go after the ones they think are weak, right? Isn't that it? Trying to attack Greenland, attacking Venezuela, attacking liberals. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's true. Like, he goes after weak things that, I'm just saying, it seems like he goes after groups that he thinks are weak. You know what I mean? Because he's not going after China. He's not going after Russia. He's not going after these kind of, and it's really, really strange. But he goes after people that, you would think he wouldn't. People that aren't bothering him. People that aren't really doing anything to harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird, man. But this is a interesting thing here because, yeah, Flip said they must be cutting the sound. I don't know, bro. I think your phone, your system. But in any case, it's weird because this is a phenomenon we're dealing with. And again, this is that divide and conquer shit. I mean, you could see it, and some people are going to divide. You're going to have the Nicki Minaj's, right? You're going to have, who else came out there? What is this dumbass goddamn basketball? The dude who used to play basketball but turned into an announcer, right? For football TV or some shit. What is his name? I can't stand this dude. He is a sellout, and he's always talking about black people. And he jumped on what's the reporter's name? What's the guy's name again? He works for one of the sports channels. Like that's some great, like that's real journalism, sports. You know what I'm saying? But not to diss it, but he works for one of them. And this guy came out against a couple of commentators. He's usually coming out against black people. Stephen A. Smith, yeah, he's like, it's like, what is going on? I mean, not that I would expect different from him because he's been doing that shit for a long time, but there just seems to be a lot of weird people supporting Trump that don't have really any reason to. Like, are these people fucking crazy or are they just coons? They just going to take a check. They just out for themselves. Is that what it is? Is Stephen Miller out for himself? Is Nicki Minaj out for herself? Is who else was it that was going after somebody in there? Oh, right. The one going after, what's the lady's name? What's her name? The prosecutor. Oh, damn. Harmet Dillon. Harmet Dillon. Yeah. Is she like, just interested for herself? Is she just out for herself to where she can't even realize like how foul that is? Like, you literally going to charge it. I mean, listen, I don't try to focus too much on just one aspect of things. I try to see the different dynamics that occur. But let's just put it like this. Don Lemon's African-American, I presume, right? Right. FBA, I guess you could say that. I don't know. Just he's a African American, a black American whose family goes back to slavery days, to Civil War, this kind of stuff, right? And slavery days, this kind of thing, right? So it is bizarre to see an immigrant kind of hit him and suggest that you can hit him with the Ku Klux Klan law. Listen, lady, fuck you. Like, what is going on in your brain? Are you trying to insult a man? Are you trying to insult us all? Like, what's going on there? I mean, but here's the genius behind the Trump administration. He gets people to go after each other. You know what I'm saying? He gets people that it doesn't benefit her to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because she's standing on thin legs anyway, thin ice anyway, right? And it seems like he knows how to turn people against each other, but I don't like to give him all the credit because you got to be willing to be part of it, to go out like that. Something about you has to be willing to be a part of it. And I just think that's so nasty, man. It's definitely the wrong attitude to have for today. If you want to make it out of this situation today that people are in, like, that attitude is not going to work. Yeah, I think it's just the wrong attitude. But having said that, folks, I'm going to be out. I appreciate everybody for coming through. It's always interesting, and there's always news popping off. It is terrible to hear about the judge that got shot with his wife, attacked with his wife. That is just terrible, but it's a sign of the times. It's just one more event on top of many, many other events. Nicki Minaj, you played yourself. When you got Don Lemon out here breaking your ass off, you really done bad. You know what I'm saying? Again, why are you going after Don Lemon? Like, Don Lemon did something to you. Like, what the hell? And you what's your name, lady? Hermit Dilhan. Yo, that you played yourself big time. I mean, what is this? You're gonna go down in pathetic history trying to charge Don Lemon with the KKK act? Like, no, lady, please don't do that. That's bound to backfire against you, though, too. Also, and there's been a lot of different changes. The shit with Greenland is going on. Everybody out there from Greenland, live your life. Denmark, live your life. Trump is the narcissist. He's going to have people spend it. You already did your planning. You sent your military there. Everybody's ready. The orders are shoot on sight. And my suggestion is shoot on sight. Shoot on sight and don't hesitate. First American that comes in there on some military shit talking about, we here to take Denmark. I mean, no, we here to take Greenland on Trump's orders. Shoot his ass, okay? Or her ass, okay? How about that? And yeah, otherwise, don't worry about it. Don't spend too much time thinking about what you got to do. just be ready to do it and do it like it's just another day. Oh, well, you know, and treat it like Trump treats other people. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. This is easy. Fuck you. Bow. Shot one of them. Oh, well, let's see if the next one comes. Yeah. But in any case, I appreciate everybody. Yeah, Bits, I appreciate you. Eric, good looking out. Edward, appreciate you also. Rafika, we in the house. MJ, what's up? I appreciate you too. Yeah, flipping out. Check your audio, bro. Or miss. Sorry about that. Yeah, Stephen Smith, SPS Ghost. Yeah, thanks for that with Stephen. Stephen Smith. I don't even have time to drag his ass. It's just pathetic. He messes up. I'm sorry, but Stephen Smith, man, you mess up black people's goddamn reputation, bro. Like, you making us look bad out here, man. Like, capping for Trump. Yo, all black people, most black people are not like Stephen Smith. I just have to say that. And if we are, goddamn, we in bad shape if that's the case. But I don't think so, man. That dude is corny. And that leads me to my last comment. The trolling is designed to do that. You know, these to get tokens out there in the front. Nicki Minaj is just another fucking token, you know? So please don't think that she's a representative of people that look like her either. Like, she ain't even a representative of America, of the US, that is. But Stephen Smith also, like, it kind of goes to show you, one person out there capping and cooning could hurt a lot of people, can confuse a lot of people. And I think it's something we're going to have to deal with, you know. This is where surveys come into play, data, you know, data collection, doing surveys to be able to hold up a piece of paper and say, listen, we surveyed this community and 9 out of 10 people, you know, are not that are from this background do not agree with Trump. That's the important thing about surveying communities, so that you don't have to rely on what one token says. You can actually refer to the papers, some surveys. And listen, being surveyed is part of your right. It's part of your civil right. It's part of, you know, if you're not, as a community, being surveyed, you're not being asked what you think. You see what I mean? People might inject their own ideas out there, and this is how they do it, through tokens. So we got to be mindful of that. Like, don't let these people speak for what we are. And that's another reason why I speak, because, you know, I don't want somebody confusing me with someone else that might appear similar to me. You know, I don't want anybody to confuse it. My thoughts are my thoughts, and some black men think exactly like I think. Okay. And you just have to deal with that. Now, there are some Stephen Smiths out there, but I don't think that's the majority. And, you know, even if you did support Trump at one time, listen, you don't owe him anything. Jump off the bandwagon. Get off the ship before it sinks. This ship is sinking, and it's going to sink. It's coming. It's coming. The clock is ticking. Let's see here. February to March, March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to November. That's 8 months from now. That's 8 cycles of 30 days. That's going to come faster than you think. And Trump is going to be out of power faster than it's not going to be, you know, it could be very soon. It could be a year. So remember, what comes around goes around. All things change. There can't be the rain without the sun. There can't be the night without the day. So just remember that, you know, yeah, it will be time to pay the piper. And, you know, it's best that you clear up your reputation before that time. You know what I'm saying? Go to your Facebook, you delete them comments, them capping for Trump comments and shit. Go to your TikTok, delete them. Oh my God. In any case, y'all, yeah. That's just my advice. That's just my advice. But in any case, I'll be back at y'all in 24 hours. I appreciate it. We're going to do a little different the next time around, you know. I wanted to keep it light today, but I appreciate everybody for coming out. Y'all be good. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Fuck Trump. Stay off of Greenland. Big up.
Starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. I traveled the globe just to gain perspective. The theory of relativity applied. Of course, it took a while to decide how I should proceed, but even my life is truly based upon need. So I move forward with more deliberate speed. Smash corny motherfuckers that stuck on greed. My seed is worth more than $1 million in future stock. The goal is to break the safe, the padlock. Mad cats can't stop it, need a rocket. Your style is boring and cold, mine it's tropic. Battles you want, commit, you'll change the topic. My partner should get to put your beat in the pocket. So this nigga here can proceed to destroy your stereotypical pop rap gangsta ploy. Not hating on niggas from the ghetto, but I'm hating on copycat rappers from the meadow. They procreate bullshit without paying the price. That's like talking about CeeLo with no dice. I drink milk, but that's about it. I won't compare dairy MCs to dope shit. I want you full undivided in this here place. We think to entertain and to educate your bum ass niggas and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The us can't stand where you nigga with ease.